The month of April opens with a flourish as Neptune is newly in the bold, fiery, just say yes sign of Aries. Mars will add more fire to the mix as it finally leaves Cancer after 5 months and re-enters Leo, the sign of our spiritual royalty. Both Venus and Mercury are stationing direct. The North Node of Destiny will be guiding us forward with signs and synchronicities and hopefully magical moments. However, all of this said, our new and full moons are going to be intense, and this is why I'm calling this a month of clarity, turning point moments, and taking back your power, my friend. So in this video, I'm excited to share with you the key transits and dates for April and how you can navigate the energies with the most ease and grace. That's part one. And in part two, I will be doing monthly horoscopes for all 12 signs, including pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. So I'm super excited to dive into April's astrology with you. But before I do, I want to say welcome if you are brand new to the channel. If you want to feel empowered through Western tropical astrology, you're in the right place. If you'd like to find your tribe as well, be sure and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Welcome back. If you've been watching my videos, thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed. You are the reason I can continue to do this work. I'm Betsy. I am a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. I am a full-time professional astrologer, so if you are interested in doing a reading with me or a coaching session, stay tuned till the end of this video. I will share more about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. I'll tell you all about your free gift at the end as well. I write about the astrology between videos, so if you would like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates direct to your inbox before they go out on social media, go to my website, sign up for free, and you will get that free instant download gift right away. I believe April is one of those turning point months where we realize we can't go back. We are now firmly in a new timeline. As the month of April begins, Neptune has literally just 2 days earlier, moved into Aries. We are at the 0-degree Aries point. I say much more about this in my solar eclipse in Aries video. And the truth is, we are very much, as April begins, in that energy of the brand new beginning that your soul has seeded, my friend, during the Aries solar eclipse. The highest octave of Neptune energy is our divine connection. It's the ideal reality. It's your new dream. Also, your creative imagination, where we can get lost in a beautiful fantasy, where we want to bring heaven down to earth. The lower octave of Neptune is disappointment, disillusionment, deception, escaping into addictions, unhealthy fantasy. Neptune has left Pisces except for a brief 3-month period, October to January of 2026. But Neptune in Pisces, in a couple of words, is the ethereal realms. Neptune in Aries is the divine spark within you that inspires you to go for something that may feel completely out of your reach. In Aries energy, the fire gets lit underneath us. We get filled with passion, and we have a tendency to act now, think later. With Neptune in Aries, we are much more likely to take on a challenge, rise to the occasion, to feel unstoppable even. And if you have planets or points in the very early degrees of Aries or the other cardinal signs of Libra, Capricorn, or Cancer, and I would say 0 to 2 degrees, you will most likely feel this energy in April quite intensely. Now, on April 1st, Venus retrograde in Pisces is going to make a conjunction to the North Node of Destiny. Venus is our values. It's love, money, beauty, pleasure, all the delicious things in life. The North Node of Destiny is what we are being called toward. It's our soul beckoning us, basically saying it's time. The nodes of the moon give us that very palpable soul nudge when it's time to make some sort of decision, take an action, or receive a divine download that will catalyze us forward on our path. Because the North Node is in Pisces and the Pisces Virgo axis where the nodes are is a healing axis, for some of you, this may be about healing something on a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual level. Also, you could have a karmic or fated moment where you feel like your human heart is receiving what was meant to be for your soul. On April 3rd, Mercury retrograde in Pisces is going to make a conjunction to the North Node of Destiny. So within a 2 to 3 day period, both Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde will both meet up with the North Node of Destiny. I would be very attuned to any message coming through. After all, Mercury is the divine messenger. You could sense or feel or spiritually hear a call to action. And again, there's that karmic or fated feel, events, people, situations. On April 4th, both Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces will make lovely sextiles to Uranus, the great awakener, the planet of epiphanies and aha moments, Uranus and Taurus. I love that both Mars and Saturn are speaking in harmony with Uranus on the same day. So it's very possible that this could be a breakthrough day for you. Uranus sextiles are about innovating something new, a way of approaching a situation, solving a problem, fixing something that you've been working on perhaps during the Mercury and or Venus retrogrades. And because Saturn is involved, whatever we are receiving in terms of a new way of thinking about something, it is beneficial in a long-term way. For our foundation, maybe you're creating a plan. Whatever it is, two sextiles on the same day could bring you what I like to call a happy, unexpected miracle. And definitely say yes to anything that feels very positive and grounding, but that you weren't expecting to happen. One of my favorite transits is happening on April 6th, and this is the Sun in Aries, sextiling, another lovely sextile, Jupiter in Gemini. Who doesn't love a Sun-Jupiter sextile? This could feel like your hope has been restored, a new sense of optimism. Aries energy is fire. It is uplifting in and of itself. And then we add Jupiter in Gemini. Yes, Jupiter in Gemini is in fall, but that doesn't mean it can't bring us blessings. It absolutely can. Jupiter in Gemini is new information, it's conversations, it's moments of synchronicity and magic. And it usually comes through people because it's Gemini energy, it's an air sign. So this could be good news. This could be a new soul sister or soul brother or somebody that's close to you, connecting you to someone or something that's really going to be helpful to you. A flash of insight, a divine download, whatever you want to change, my friend, this is a day before, a day after, to be open to new opportunities and solutions. That's a sextile. On April 7th, Mercury will shift into direct motion in the sign of Pisces. If you haven't received clarity yet in the Pisces area of your chart, you might experience a shift around this time. Now, keep in mind that the day that Mercury stations, whether it's retrograde or direct, it's a more intense energy. It's not usually a big sigh of relief the actual day of, but within a day, 2, maybe 3 after it stations direct, many of us, I feel, if we haven't gotten that breakthrough, that download, that clarity that we wanted, at the very least, I think a lot of us will feel a lightening of the energy, less monkey mind or fewer annoyances. Now, Mercury is not going to leave its post-retrograde shadow until April 26th. So from April 7th to the 26th, this is what we call an integration period, where we are applying whatever we learned during the retrograde and integrating it into our being. By the way, if you have any planets or points around 8 or 9 degrees of Aries or the other cardinal signs of Capricorn, Cancer, or Libra, Mercury retrograde was at these degree points for a whole 10 days. And 9 degrees is particularly significant because that was the degree point of the Aries solar eclipse. So I mention this because if you felt like middle to late March was particularly heavy for you, we had a lot of Mercury, mind is a bad neighborhood kind of energy around that time. Teaching us patience, teaching us to go with the flow, to meet our fears, anxieties, stresses, and breathe through them. On April 12th, Venus in Pisces is going to station direct, and Venus rules money, beauty, love, pleasure, relationships. So you might want to think back to what has gone on for you in any of these areas. Really, Venus is anything that you prize, anything that you love, anything that's very, very important to you. Venus is our values. Venus retrograde has been supportive of showing us where our priorities should be now. She will not clear her post-retrograde shadow until mid-May, but both Venus and Mercury shifting into direct motion brings more ease and flow to our month of April. On April 12th, we're going to have a full moon in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus and is the sign associated with our committed relationships, including business partnerships, significant others, marriages, any relationship in which we have the other person's back and they have our back, where we want balance and fairness, give and take. A sense of equality, that mutually reciprocal, loving relationship. And I'm using the word love broadly, as in best friendships. And this can also be relationships with clients. This full moon has an intensity to it. Why? Because it's going to make an opposition to Chiron, and Chiron has a tendency to trigger what we call a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. Sensitivities, those extra tender spots within us that can get poked and take us right back to our 4-year-old self. So this is a full moon in which we may be rising to the occasion, reclaiming our power, setting clear boundaries, advocating for ourselves or for our loved ones. How you experience this full moon, my friend, will depend on, like all of the transits that I'm speaking about in this video, the planets and points in your natal astrology chart. The full moon is happening at 23 degrees of Libra. So if you have planets or points between 19 and 29 degrees of the cardinal signs, Libra, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn, you will feel this full moon most intensely. And of course, I will be doing a separate video for you on the full moon with a deeper dive, as I love to do. On April 16th, Mercury, now direct, will re-enter Aries and immediately make a conjunction to Neptune in Aries. So Mercury, the winged messenger, the planet of our conversations and communications and information and our thoughts and how we see ourselves and see our lives, is coming together with Neptune, the planet of how you want your life to look and feel, the new reality that you are co-creating. The thing about conjunctions is they can go either way in the sense of our human self can love it, or our human self can feel emotionally triggered. Conjunctions always have an intensity to them, but both Mercury and Neptune will be on the same page. They will be in discussion. And when a Neptune transit feels disappointing, deflating, bad to our human self, it's often because we were wearing rose-colored glasses. We weren't allowing ourselves to see the truth. We were ignoring the red flags. So if it feels too good to be true, whatever is coming up for you around this time, trust your intuition, ask the right questions, set the boundaries that your higher self is whispering to you to set. On April 17th, Mars will finally leave the water sign of Cancer. You can see I'm smiling big. Why? Because I have Cancer moon and Cancer rising, and I didn't think that this would be a challenging transit. Boy, was I wrong. Mars has been in Cancer for 5 whole months since September 4th. And you could have felt challenged by Mars in Cancer, my friend, in the areas of home or family, your physical body, Mars rules the body, your sense of emotional security, your desire for a home that you may not have at this moment, or any themes around your mother or your mothering. And that includes those of you who nurture others, but may not have your own children. And I want to say, for those of you who have planets or points in the last decan of any of the cardinal signs, you have probably been feeling this Mars retrograde in Cancer quite intensely over the last several months. In some area of your life, you have been transformed, and you may begin to feel that you're getting your mojo back after Mars enters Leo. So this is a good time, mid-month, to take stock of what you learned during the Mars in Cancer period, as we say farewell to Mars in Cancer and we welcome Mars in Leo on April 18th. I absolutely love Mars in Leo. Why? Because it is the sign of inner child delight, the 5th house of the zodiac. This is the sign of our creative muse. It is Love and romance, it's children, it's playfulness, it's where we are meant to relax, take a vacation, have an adventure, dance like no one's watching, sing at the top of your lungs. Your full unbridled creative expression is being ignited with Mars moving into Leo. This is a permission slip to shine, shine bright, my friend. And we associate Leo energy with taking a stage, but it's not just that. It's also claiming, owning your own passion. It's stepping into leadership, but whatever leadership means for you, because, Leo energy is the king or queen of the jungle, but leadership for you could be in how you approach parenting or in how you do your art. So many different ways this could be expressed. Not only this, but as Mars lands in Leo on April 18th, it will immediately make a conjunction to Neptune and Aries, just like we had with Mercury. Now Mars is getting a turn to conjunct Neptune. And these are two fire signs. Fire is transformational. Why is it transformational? Because it gets us moving, usually with inspiration and passion. So with Mars and Leo jumping into the convertible with Neptune and Aries, they're going to take off, my friend. They are heading toward something beautiful, whatever that something beautiful is for you. And again, this is act now, think later energy. This could also feel like my joy has been on the back burner and now I'm putting it front and center. Now I'm prioritizing it. I'm ready to take a risk. If not now, when? On April 19th, the sun will enter Taurus. Happy birthday to all of our beautiful Taurus friends. Unlike Aries energy, where the sun has been, which is that burst of spring, that new life, that brand new beginning, the spark being lit in our hearts, unlike this, Taurus energy wants to maintain what it has. It's material security focused. Another way of seeing this is that in Aries, you may have been ignited, especially around the solar eclipse time, ignited with something that's very important to you that you want to bring into reality. Now in Taurus season, beginning on the 19th, Taurus energy says, okay, how can we build this? How can we create this? How can we bring this into reality? Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So this very earthy energy of Taurus is going to help us attend to the things that are important to us, having to do with our finances, having to do with our possessions, the things that bring us a sense of security that we can touch and feel, that make us feel firmly rooted. The sense that you are creating a quality of life in this physical body, that's Taurus. Now, just after the sun enters Taurus, from around about April 20th to the 22nd, Venus, now direct, is going to make a conjunction to both the North Node of Destiny and Saturn. Venus together with Saturn is measured, it's thoughtful, it's a disciplined approach to bringing your dreams into reality. All the Venusian things that I just mentioned. Saturn helps us to create a plan. But the North Node is also together with Venus and Saturn, so this has to be soul-inspired. It has to feel destined. It has to, and to some degree, feel like it's new territory, like it is a challenge for us to get there, because the North Node is where we have not yet been before. It is a stretch. It is a reach. And we want to keep in mind that all of these energies are in very watery, oceanic, spiritually based Pisces. So pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the subtle whispers of your heart. This is a good time to do any sort of channeling, automatic writing. Be in nature. Spend time near water, reflection, meditation. To be asking the divine for the message you want to receive. We will likely feel extra sensitive and more tired around this time. Now, going back to April 20th for a moment, April 20th is a power day. Why do I say this? First of all, we're going to have Venus in Pisces making a sextile, an opportunity, a solution, something we weren't expecting, to Uranus in Taurus. Venus, Uranus, I absolutely love a sextile with these planets. This is something delightful. This is something surprising. This could be a breakthrough. This could be an aha moment. This is Venus, so it's fun and pleasure and maybe happening within a relationship. Maybe you found just the perfect thing that you wanted to wear for a special occasion. At the very least, this is super creative energy. At the very least, this should be one of those happy unexpected moments, if not miracles. Also on April 20th, Mercury in Aries will make a sextile to Pluto. Sextiles to Pluto are passion. Mercury, this is passion in communication. This is a workaround. This is a new opportunity. This is very possibly new information, new news that feels quite empowering to you. Now, at the same time, however, we have what we call a square energy, and squares are more tense. They feel more like pressure, but they do motivate us. They do motivate us to take action. They do move us forward. We need squares to grow. We need squares to create in our lives. The square is the sun in Taurus, making a square to Mars in Leo. So you could experience this as an inner conflict. The sun within you, your identity, your life force energy wants one thing, and the Mars within you, the get up and go, your mojo, your desire, may feel torn about it, may want something else, maybe on the fence. A beautiful way to diffuse the tension or pressure of a square is to write down your fears, purge any energy that feels uncomfortable, release your emotions, or you can dance it out. But Sun square Pluto is definitely a call to stay in your power, to set a boundary, to look for common ground if this is between you and someone else, to look for a win-win solution. Because in Pluto energy, something is often ending, but there are new options that we can't see until we accept what we can't control. On April 24th, Venus in Pisces will make an exact conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. Venus-Saturn can solidify. It can bring something into fruition that is long-term, lasting, supportive of your foundation. Venus-Saturn can also be what we call a wet blanket. So again, we have to use our discernment, Saturn, but the timing is right for something. Saturn rules timing. The timing is right for something, and maybe that is saying yes to an agreement or a plan, or maybe it's realizing this actually isn't what I want anymore, and I'm going to release it and let it go. On April 26th, we're going to have the most challenging transit of the month. Mars in Leo at 3 degrees will oppose Pluto in Aquarius also at 3 degrees. This is the final Mars-Pluto opposition that we are having since November of 2024, when we had a Mars-Pluto opposition in Cancer and Capricorn. You may recall that opposition because it happened right around the US presidential election. And then at the very end of December of 2024 and the first several days of January of 2025, we had another Mars-Pluto opposition with both planets at 1 degree. The quintessential Mars-Pluto opposition would be power struggles, an intense standoff. It can be brute force for sure. It could be violence, especially in the collective. It can also be a moment of reckoning, of seeing, this is toxic to me. I can no longer be in this relationship, in this situation, in this job. So some people will cut ties to something in their lives that feels unhealthy for them. And because this is the final opposition of the 6-month period, it may feel like a last straw moment. It may feel like this has been building for some time, or that you finally have clarity and you're ready to take action. Whenever Pluto is involved, there's often a feeling of, I don't have control over the situation. I feel powerless. I'm not okay with this. This is completely wrong. I can't continue with this. Mars-Pluto can feel quite extreme. And so it's always a call to get support, reclaim your power, set clear boundaries, put yourself in a situation that does feel nurturing, supportive, healthy, safe. And if you find yourself, my friend, in an uncomfortable situation or one that feels extreme or that is painful, this could be the opportunity for you to start your brand new beginning, a rebirth of your power. Because whatever you are saying no to, it's because you have evolved past it. And we can't go back. With Pluto, we can't go back. We have evolved past the energy that is now toxic for us. And so a question that I love when I'm going through something really, really hard is, what would love do here? What would unconditional love do in this situation? How can I take care of myself now in this moment? One baby step at a time. Now, on April 27th, we are going to have a new super moon in the sign of Taurus at 7 degrees. It is almost 8 degrees. So if you have planets or points in the fixed signs of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, around 3 to 11 degrees, you are going to feel this new moon, super moon, most intensely, most personally. Of course, we will all feel it wherever we have 7 to 8 degrees of Taurus in our chart. And I will touch on this in the 12 sign readings. And I'll also be doing a separate video for you on this new moon. But what's most notable is that the sun and moon will be making a T-square to that Mars-Pluto opposition that I just spoke about. And T-squares can make us feel like I don't see a way out. They feel very tight. But there is always a way out. And I will talk more about this when I do a separate video on it. And new moons are about new beginnings. We're meant to plant seeds for what is most important to us around this time. The themes that will be coming up for you during this time will likely be, because it's Taurus energy, a desire to maintain your resources, your financial security, anything on a physical level that makes you feel more rooted, more like your future is taken care of on a material level. Also, the financial markets will very likely be volatile around this time. But the sun and the moon squaring Pluto, we want to keep in mind, Pluto is saying anything that isn't in alignment with you anymore has to go. Pluto often brings up unconscious fears that we weren't aware of before, which are meant to be released, purged, so that we can focus on the new reality we desire. Finally, my friend, on April 30th, Venus, now in direct motion, will return to Aries. And what I love about Venus returning to Aries is that this time she will be within 1 degree of Neptune now in Aries. So Venus, Neptune, oh my gosh, what a dreamy combination. This is very romantic, Venus, Neptune, super creative. And because it's Venus coming back over the degrees that she retrograded on direct motion, there could be a second chance at something and more enthusiasm, new revived enthusiasm in a relationship. Or if not love and relationships, this would be a different heart's desire or have to do with your money or the sensual pleasures of life. You might want to look back. Venus was at this degree point on February 4th, March 25th, and now April 30th. So the Venus within you has moved through her own heroine's journey. What have you awakened to during this time? What did Venus retrograde show you? She may have reorganized your values. She may have shown you something that you now have to put front and center. Hopefully, Venus coming together with Neptune on April 30th is going to uplift you in some way or have you tuning into Neptune energy, which is that higher octave of love. Maybe this is a call to deepen our own self-love. How do we heal? We heal much more easily through divine love, right? Maybe we are being called to merge with that divine love and raise the frequency of our own inner Venus. Just keep in mind, Venus conjuncting Neptune can be head over heels, madly in love. Love at first sight. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it's illusion. Sometimes it's real and lasting. Maybe you're not smitten with another person. Maybe you're smitten with an idea or a project or your own awakening to divine magic. Being enchanted by a person, situation, event is a beautiful thing. Who knows if it's just momentary or it's supposed to be long-term? My advice is just take extra sensitive care of yourself in the process of finding out. Okay, my beautiful friend, let us do your 12 sign monthly horoscopes now. Listen to your rising sign. Your rising sign will tell you where in your natal astrology chart the transits that I'm going to be speaking about are happening. Listen also to your moon sign and your sun sign for further themes and intuitive messages. And let us start with Taurus because we are about to enter Taurus season. And happy, happy birthday to my beautiful Taurian friends. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, what I love about this month for you is that your ruling planet, Venus, is stationing direct. Yay, yay, yay. This is a very good thing for you. when our ruling planet is retrograde, we can feel retrograde sometimes. We can feel like we are in a fog or we are moving backwards. But Venus going forward for you, I think will make you feel like the momentum is beginning to happen again. Not only this, but the sun in Aries, which is how you're going to start your month. You will start your month before, of course, the sun goes into your sign on the 19th of April. Before that, the sun will be in Aries. And what does this mean for you? It means a period for a lot of you of deep reflection or even inner excavation or self-discovery. It doesn't have to be gloomy or heavy, but some of you, and some of you may have had some really amazing aha moments or epiphanies or opportunities to rewire your subconscious mind. That is the 12th house. Now, Taurus, you are going to have the sun moving into your first house on the 19th. And when the sun shines in the house of you, often you are looking at a role that you play, your identity. And when I say identity, I know it's one of those sort of buzzwords that we astrologers talk about, but identity is how you describe yourself, the titles that you have, both personally and professionally. It's how you see yourself. So the sun moving through your first house is very, very important because often it's a period of reinvention or, reflection on, do I want to stay in this job? Do I want to stay in this relationship? Is this feeding me, whatever this is for you? It can be any area of your chart because the first house is an angle of your chart. That's where your ascendant is. And this means that there can be moving and shaking. Things can be moving around on your chessboard in any area of your life. Taurus, as I mentioned, your ruling planet Venus will be turning direct in the sign of Pisces in your 11th house of friendships, supporters, social media platforms, your 11th house of marketing and branding, also the world. The world is your oyster. The 11th house is the house of dreams and fulfillment. With Venus having been retrograde here, you've probably been doing some contemplation on what you want most now. What is your next adventure? What is the thing that you want to create and manifest? What do you want to build, Taurus? You're a builder. Or this could have to do with friendships, or you could have been reevaluating friendships. You could have been having things going on with tribe, with communities, and so forth. However, you have been getting a sextile from the Pisces energy to your energy. And sextiles are opportunities and solutions. They can bring in wonderful things in our lives. So you could have met somebody new. You could have had something happen. You could have been given a new opportunity or had a new dream bubble up from the surface that you now want to pursue or are pursuing. Not only is Venus your ruler stationing direct, but so will Mercury. Mercury and Pisces will station direct as well. So this is very good news because, it means forward momentum. Now, on April 12th, the full moon in Libra is also ruled by Venus. Just like you're ruled by Venus, so is Libra. And it's happening in your 6th house. This full moon is going to bring your focus to 6th house matters, which is our relationships with coworkers. It's our work environment. It is our health, our lifestyle, our pets, and also just the routines and schedules of our daily life, habits, addictions that we want to shift, some of us. What does this mean when you have a full moon in Libra in your 6th house, opposite your 12th house, where Chiron will be? And Chiron is the archetype of the wounded healer. It could mean that you in a relationship are bringing healing to another person. It could mean that you are getting triggered emotionally so that you can heal another layer of a core wound. But big picture, what it means is you are balancing your spiritual self with your practical selves. You're bringing yourself, your relationships, your relationship to perhaps your work, your relationship to the divine, perhaps. You're bringing these back into balance. This is what the full moon wants you to do, is how it's supporting you. Now, Taurus, Mars is going to leave Cancer finally after 5 months in Cancer. Mars is going to leave Cancer and enter fiery Leo. When it does, it will enter your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, the house of your roots, also the house of ancestral healing. When it does so, it will make a square to your energy. What does this mean? It means that you may feel tension or pressure or increased motivation to do something in any of these areas in your life. The big picture goal of this Mars going into Leo for you is for you to feel more secure and rooted wherever you are. Or if you're not liking wherever you are, to give you motivation to move or to change your surroundings, to change, to make your home life or your family life, to bring it more into alignment with your own vibrational frequency, Taurus. And I feel like this transit is going to be spiritual for you. Why do I say that? Because Mars in Leo is going to make a trine to Neptune in Aries in your 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of spiritual awakening. It's the house of our connection to the divine. So you may be starting a new spiritual practice. Neptune will be going through your 12th house for many, many years until 2039. And this is a potentially very expansive transit for you, Taurus. Expansive to your spirituality, expansive to your experience of the other realms, and to your psychic and intuitive powers. Now, the biggest news for you, Taurus, is that the new moon on the 27th is happening in your sign. It is your new moon, which is really, really lovely. And this is happening in your first house of you. So this is taking us back to your identity, your roles, how you want to use your energy, how you want others to see you, how you see yourself. This is also your appearance. It's your physical vitality. It is your status, and that can be your relationship status as well. But with this new moon in your sign in the first house, I think this is going to feel very empowering to you. And the only potential snag, is that this new moon is calling us to claim our power or reclaim our power. Why? Because it is T-squaring that Mars-Pluto opposition. And if you hear a loud sound right now, it's the roof in the Airbnb that I'm staying creaking, which it does. And I don't know why it does that. It's just the beautiful beam ceiling above me, I guess. Perhaps it's the divine talking to us, saying, I'm here for you. You don't have to do this alone, Taurus. But that Mars-Pluto opposition for you, Taurus, is happening in your houses of career and home and family. And so you very well may feel during this new moon in your sign that you are balancing or asking the question, how can I balance the role or roles that I play in my life, my own identity of who I am and how I want to express myself? How can I balance that with career and or home and family, or one or people in your life, in your career, in your work life, in your home life? There could be some tension or pressure there that you're feeling within your own sense of you. And this is about you doing that balance, but staying true to yourself in the meantime, in the process, beautiful Taurus. So let me now shuffle the cards for you. And let's see what the cards have to say about your beautiful month, your beautiful Taurus season, your new moon. Taurus, this is an I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. That's first house. So you're coming out. And, you may have felt like you were in hibernation, especially with the sun in the 12th house. That can feel like a hibernating transit. So now the sun is moving into your first house. And now it's like anything that you were that felt dormant within you, Taurus, is now ready to shine. You're ready to shine your light. Let's see what the cards have to say. Taurus. Your card is, oh my goodness. Take back your power. You can't make this stuff up. It is your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. Archangel Raziel. So check it out. I mean, this is it. And it's true, Taurus, you are the manifester. You are the master manifestors. It is look at the rainbow. Look at how when this Archangel Raziel, when Archangel Raziel spreads, I don't know if that's male or female. I don't think there's a gender to angels. When he or she spreads their wings, their golden wings, their wings of golden light, a rainbow forms. And this is protection too. This is rainbow light protection. So some of you may want to take this as a nudge to shield your energy, or just to awaken to the fact that you are rainbow light. You are full of rainbow light. You might want to infuse yourself with rainbow light, tap into Archangel Raziel's healing powers. Claim your power, reclaim your power. It is time, beautiful Taurus. If anything I shared resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aries, hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, we are still in your season when this month begins. This is a big, big, important time for you. Why? Because Neptune is now in your sign, Aries, until 2039, with the exception of 3 months between October 22nd of 2025 and January 26th of 2026. That 3-month period, it will retrograde back into Pisces. But other than that, we have Neptune in your sign, Aries, for an era. This is a new era, a new vision, a new reality. And where is this happening? Where is this new vision meant to happen for you? It's meant to be birthed. This is a rebirthing energy for you. It's meant to be birthed in the house of you, your first house of identity. Identity, as we all like to say, your I am identity, how you describe yourself, how you describe your titles, how you describe your spirit, how you describe your loves and your joys and what's important to you. That's identity. I am a spirit of pure love. I am an accountant. I am an astrologer. You get the idea. I am a dancer. Whatever it is for you, whatever brings you joy is what I encourage you to. I claim as your identity, Aries. So we open the month with the sun in your sign. Happy, happy birthday to those of you who have yet to have your birthday, who have April birthdays. And also Neptune here as well. This is a reinvention energy. Neptune is our dreams. Neptune is our fantasies. Neptune is, what do you want your one wild and precious life to feel like? That is a paraphrase of the famous Mary Oliver quote. The focus is still on you for the first 18 days of the month. The focus is very much on your focus, is probably very much on you, your sense of self. Now, it could also be on your physical body, because even though the 6th house is our health, the 1st house is our physical body. So our vitality. So you could be focused there, have been and continue to be the first 18 days or so of this month. Plus, not only this, we just had the powerful solar eclipse on the 29th in your sign, 29th of March, Aries. So we begin this month of April very much in that solar eclipse energy, solar eclipse in your sign, and very much in the Neptune just sort of being birthed into being in your 1st house as well. These are activations. You could feel fired up. You could feel like your feelings have changed about something. You could feel like your attention has been, what's the word? You refocus, like that's what eclipses can do. They can course correct us, or you could just plainly and simply be exhausted. So much energy in Pisces. Saturn, Neptune, Venus, and Mercury are in Pisces as we open this month, that we can really feel drained in Pisces energy. Now, as I spoke about in the first part of this video, the collective horoscope for everyone, Venus and Mercury are going to station direct in Pisces. What does this mean for you, Aries? It means that direct motion is happening in your 12th house. And this could bring an inner clarity, because the 12th house is the house of the hidden realms. The 12th house is our subconscious mind. It's our inner narrative. So you could have an aha moment that gives you your gift in strange wrapping paper, stated by my friend and colleague Darren Wiseman. We always received a gift from a planet that's been retrograde, and this time it's Venus and Mercury, both retrograding through your sign and through Pisces. But when they station direct, they will be in Pisces. So big picture, this is clarity. This is clarity. And it could be something that's more internal, the 12th house, or something that is more about your expression in the world, because Mercury and Venus began their retrograde in your sign in the 1st house, Aries. Now, the full moon in Libra is happening for you opposite you in the 7th house of partnerships. It's an opposition. So oppositions, we feel them strongly in our relationships. What does this mean? You don't have to be in a romantic partnership to feel this strongly. The full moon in Libra for you could be full moons are fruition. There's something coming to closure. There's something, a manifestation happening. For most likely it has to do with a relationship, whether it's business or personal, that is showing you something about you, that's revealing something. It could be revealing a limit for you. It could be revealing where you need to set a boundary. It could be revealing a truth. Full moons reveal truths, but Chiron is in your sign, Aries, and the full moon is opposing Chiron. So for most of us, or many of us, it will trigger a sensitivity, an emotional sensitivity that will then bring us more fully into our power. And speaking of our power, Mars is entering Leo in your 5th house. I love this for you, Aries. Your fire, Leo's fire. The 5th house is a wonderful place to have a transit. Mars in the 5th house, that is your mojo, your get up and go, your drive around love and romance, children, or creativity. If you are a parent, if you spend time with your own parents, if you are interested in romance, dating, love, and so forth, Mars here really has a tendency to increase our motivation and our drive. At the very least, you should feel desire in one of these areas. It could be desire around your own unbridled creative expression. It could be desire around, I want more freedom. I want to take a road trip. I want to have an adventure. I want more joy, more joy. This is a permission slip for you, Aries. Not that you need it. Aries are usually pretty good at giving themselves what they need. But yeah, not only this is going to make a conjunction to Neptune as soon as it enters Leo, and that is also, of course, a trine for you. And so you could very well feel an activation of your passion for your creativity, for your children, if you have children, or work with children. And if you're not in a relationship and you don't have a lover and you want one, you may feel that desire this month. And finally, beautiful Aries, Taurus season. The sun moving into Taurus and the new moon in Taurus are happening for you in your 2nd house of earned income, your self-worth, your values, your self-esteem. There's more people racing by. There's a lot of like racing. I am near a high school where I'm staying, and so there are a lot of kids that like those loud engines and no mufflers and all that stuff. I try to edit it out of my videos, but it often doesn't edit out. Taurus season and the new moon in Taurus in your 2nd house are taking your focus at the end of this month. Well, Taurus season begins on the 19th, and then the new moon is on the 27th, and it's taking your focus to what new reality do you want in your 2nd house of money and self-worth. So this is financial. This is not just financial. It's about material security and our possessions and the money we earn for a lot of us, but it's also what you want to build. It's also what makes you feel more secure in a material way. And because we're getting that opposition that I spoke about in part 1 of this video, go back and watch it, Aries, if you haven't already, because it's a more explanation there that I give for everyone. But the bottom line is this is a tense full moon that T-squares Mars and Pluto. And what does that mean? It means that a lot of us need to set a boundary, or there's a last straw moment, perhaps in a relationship, or something that we are being shown needs to change, cutting ties to something perhaps, so that we can have this dream, this joy, this thing that we want. And for you, it's happening in your financial house, in your house of self-love and deserving. So this is a big picture Taurus season for you, and the new moon is about claiming what you know you deserve as yours, if needed, to increase your sense of healthy entitlement. Beautiful Aries. I am worthy because I exist. That is one of the key phrases for Aries energy. I am worthy because I exist. Your passion, your desire, your motivation, your drive, your ability to take risks, your boldness, your courage, your confidence, Aries, all of those things that are your signature qualities, they make the world a higher frequency place by being a risk taker, by saying yes, by seizing the moment, by following your heart, Aries. You make the world a better place, and that is enough. Okay, let me pull a card for you now. Aries, for April. Your card is Divine Order. You know, I'm like so excited to tell you what I see in this card already. Okay, Archangel Raguel. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. So there's so many things that jump out at me. The first thing that I wanted to blurt out, but held myself back at first, was the scales. That's the full moon in Libra that is opposite you. If you feel like you are trying to rectify an imbalance around this full moon time, that's the scales. That's Libra energy. Things have to be in balance, right? Mutually reciprocal. Some of the relationship situations and jobs and so forth that we find ourselves in, we've outgrown them. That's this last Mars-Pluto opposition. We have to let go of what is no longer in alignment with our soul's evolution. So that's one thing, but also look past the illusion and see the underlying order. I love that too, because with the North Node of Destiny in Pisces and Neptune now in your sign Aries, sometimes that can be illusion. Sometimes it can be something that looks shiny and sparkly that turns out to be something else. So, or we can just feel like everything going on in our life isn't what we thought it would be. We can be going through a period of disillusionment or a period of feeling like, is my life always going to be like this? Am I never going to have what I thought I would have, what I've been working so hard to create, and so on. With so many retrogrades and other things going on this year so far, it's almost as though the year doesn't even start until May. Mars retrograde, not out of shadow, completely out of the Leo, Mars and Leo shadow until May. And then the Venus retrograde shadow won't end until mid-May. So in a lot of ways, Aries, if you feel like in Aries, you are a go-getter, you want to keep moving. So if you feel like there hasn't been enough movement, if you haven't had enough momentum, if you felt stalled out, if someone has put one of those boots, you know, those boots they can put on your car, your tire. If I used to live in Boston, and in Boston we would see the boot on people's car all the time, and I used to feel sorry for people to get the boot, because they literally, you know, when you don't pay your parking tickets or whatever, they can put a boot on your car. Anyway, if you felt like your engine or your car has been booted, beautiful Aries, that is going to change. Know that everything's happening in divine perfect order. And if you resonate with anything I shared and you would like to leave me a comment, I would love to hear. Pisces, hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, I was looking at this month for you. What is the standout thing for me? And one of the standout things that I wanted to share with you right off the bat is that Neptune has left your sign as of March 30th. We open this month with one planet having left your sign. How do you feel about that, Pisces? Some of you will probably be excited, especially if you have had a lot of karmic clearing stuff come up. If you have planets or points in the high degrees of your sign, especially, a lot of you have probably felt this like washing away, and that can be hard. That can feel like a loss or multiple losses. Others of you may be kind of sad that Neptune is leaving your sign. So it's different for all of you. But we have such a party of planets, such a conference of planets and energies right now in Pisces, and have had for so long. You could have felt so drained and exhausted and waterlogged and like, this is just too much. This is too heavy, especially with Saturn being one of those energies. Well, and Venus and Mercury being retrograde in Pisces as well. So what I want to say to you is that, you know, the energy is going to lighten up for you. And that's a really good thing for this month. That's, I think, the most important thing. But let's continue. Pisces, the sun has been in Aries, of course, and will continue to be until the 19th, when it moves into Taurus in your second house. So your second house is your house of material security, your self-worth, your values, aligning your life with your values, you know, your sense of deserving. It's all the things that make you feel happy in a material way, like you have what you need. Also, Venus and Mercury have been retrograde in the same house during the month of March. But now in April, they are turning direct. And this is really good news. They are turning direct, and They're turning direct in your sign, Pisces. That's in your first house. What does this mean? It means that you may receive clarity on your values. You may receive clarity on a role or your sense of identity, how you describe yourself, what you most want, what's most important to you now. The first house is the house of our physical vitality as well. It's the house that we often feel in our relationships because it's us and then the other is across from us in the seventh house. You could have been working on something to do with healing something within your physical body. You could have been shifting a role. You could have taken a time out from something. You could have left a job. Some of you could have retired. Why? Because Venus and Mercury both retrograde in the first house of you. We're having you reflect on the things that you do, how you spend your time, the titles that you have, the roles that you play. This month, Pisces, the North Node in your sign is going to make a conjunction to both Venus and Saturn. And this is a big deal. Why? Because the North Node can bring us a fated or destined experience, meeting with somebody. But most important, it's a turning point time. And it shows us when it's time to take some sort of action, or we get a feeling, we get a message, an internal message that says, now I want to shift my life in this particular way. Now, of course, when you feel that will depend on the degree points of your planets or points in Pisces energy. So not everyone is going to feel a very strong turning point energy as the North Node makes a conjunction to Venus and Saturn, but some of you will. Again, depending on the degree points in your natal astrology chart. Regardless, you may feel a new readiness to follow a vision, to follow a dream, to follow a specific path. The full moon in Libra is happening April 12th, and that's happening in your 8th house, and that's the house of power, control, death and rebirth, transformation. It's sexual and emotional intimacy. It's our nest eggs. It's our, if you have investments, it's your investments. It is also loans and taxes and, real estate. So it's a financial house, but it's not just finances. It's also how we share resources with significant people in our life, such as business partners or marriage partners, significant others, and so forth. The full moon here for you in your 8th house may trigger a sense of powerlessness at some point, or you may be stepping into your power even more. This is an important full moon because the 8th house is the house of transformation. So it may feel quite transformational to you. It depends again on the planets and points in your natal astrology chart and whether they are activated during this lunation. Mars will enter Leo, Pisces, in your 6th house of health, daily work. This is the house of your habits. It's also your lifestyle. It's also pets. And when it does so, it will oppose Pluto, which is transiting your 12th house of your inner world, the rest that you need, the retreats that you may have taken, the spiritual awakening, the rewiring of your subconscious mind. We can do all of these things. With Pluto transiting the 12th house, we often have dark fears come up. We often have, Pluto's our unconscious, and that often rises to the surface when it is transiting our 12th house. So Mars and Leo in your 6th house will probably rev your engine, Pisces, around anything that you feel is important to you for your health. And if you are in a work environment that feels toxic, or you do have a habit that you want to shed and release, or you do want to change your lifestyle or your job, Mars in Leo will give you that mojo and that motivation and the drive to make something happen. So that's good news. And then Taurus season, the sun entering Taurus and the new moon in Taurus are happening in your 3rd house. What I love about this for you is you get a sextile from the Taurus energy. Taurus is earth, you are water, you are complementary to one another. The earthly nature of Taurus is very grounding for you, Pisces. And the new moon is going to happen towards the end of the month on the 27th. Of course, you'll get a sextile from that as well. And because it's your 3rd house, this is where you're planting seeds or intentions for what you want going forward. And what is third house? It's our mindset, our communication, the house of moving and shaking, I call it. It is our networking, meetups with people, all the places that we do our daily things, where we buy our food and where we work out or do yoga, and meetup groups if you do that. So anything in your local environment. It's also when we take short trips in our vehicles and our devices, anything electronic, that's included there. Also websites. So if you are a freelancer, if you're starting a website, if you need to redo a website, if you're, excited to put a message out, to write something, to communicate something, then this new moon is the perfect time to plant the seeds for any of those things. This is where we want to be. This is the house of Mercury. Mercury is our communication, our messaging, our correspondences with people. So it's usually a very busy new moon in your third house. It's probably a time of year that you are usually pretty busy, Pisces. But again, that sextile can bring new opportunities and solutions. We just want to keep in mind, and again, I'll do a deeper dive for you on it with a new moon in Taurus video, but we do want to keep in mind that this new moon is going to be, what do they say, crunchy? It's going to be, there will be some tension there. Why? Because it's making a T-square, which is a square to the opposition of Mars and Pluto. And what that is, big picture, is we got to clear out anything toxic. It's going to be a detoxifying new moon for those who are most affected. And I talk about the planets and points, those details, in the first part of this video. So Pisces, let's pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. Ah, beautiful Pisces. Your card is, you know what to do, Pisces. Trust your inner knowledge. Archangel Uriel, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. You know what to do. If you have felt confused, if you have felt, that's Venus and Mercury retrograde, right? It's very possible that you could feel like you've been in limbo, that you haven't had the clear guidance that you need. But if you look closely at this card, there is guidance. There is a halo, and there is light that is guiding you, actually. And this is saying, in large part, I feel this is saying, we can convince ourselves that we don't know because we're actually afraid to take a risk, or we're actually afraid to go out of our comfort zone. North Node's in your sign, Pisces. North Node says it's time for new territory. It's time for you to say yes to your heart. So what does your heart most want? The North Node this month, making a conjunction to Venus and Saturn, is saying this is the time to move forward on it. So beautiful Pisces, if anything I shared resonates, I would love to hear. Leave me a comment. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. Your month of April begins with the sun in the third house of growth and learning, the house of freelance work, the house of your message, if you have a message, the house of meeting up with people and enjoying those coffee dates and enjoying other kinds of dates, if that's what you're doing. The third house is the house of moving and shaking. So this is where the sun, of course, will continue to be until we move into Taurus season on the 19th. And the exciting thing is that this lovely Aries energy for you is, it sextiles you. So your air, Aries fire, that ignites the fire in your belly. And now that Neptune has entered Aries as of the 30th of March, so it's newly here, only 2 days here in, when we open the month of April, Neptune will be in your house of your mindset, communication, your local environment, the location that lights you up. Neptune will be here until 2039, with the exception of 3 months from October to January of 2026. What does this mean? It means that some of you are going to want to start your own business. Some of you are looking for a new location. Some of you are deciding, there's a vision. Neptune is our vision. It's our new reality. some of you are probably really thinking about some of these third house matters. Now, the third house is also relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, landlords. It's your hood. It's your hood. So are you happy in the neighborhood that you live in? Are you happy where you go do your daily things? Are you happy with, where you exercise, for example? Um, are you happy with who you socialize with? All of these things may come up for you while Neptune is in Aries. Not only this, but if you already have your own business, are you happy with your website? Are you happy with the way you market your business? Do you feel like you get enough clients? All these things, or business, all these things could come up for you during this time. But remember, it's sextile energy for you, which is opportunities, it's flow, it's harmony, and it's solutions, and it's very compatible with your energy. And that's really great news, Aquarius. Now, also this month, Mercury and Venus are shifting into direct motion, yay, in your second house of earned income, your values, your material security. This is bringing you clarity in any of these areas. This is like, okay, maybe some of you are thinking about changing your location and you're like, okay, do I have the money for it? Or can I find a job someplace else? Can I earn what I need to earn to get what I want? Or maybe you're having to dive a little bit deeper, or have been with them, with Mercury and with Mercury and Venus retrograde. Maybe you've been doing a deeper dive into your own sense of deserving, to raise your level of thinking to the level of, what you most desire, getting into the vortex, as Abraham Hicks describes it. I have a feeling that some of you have decided to ask for a promotion, get another job, start a side gig, figure out another way to earn some money, perhaps. But the gift here this month is clarity, as these planets station direct. Aquarius, the full moon in Libra is happening on the 12th. It's making a trine to your energy. This is so beautiful. It's happening in your ninth house of expansion, Aquarius. And this is also the house of teaching and publishing and long distance travel, visas, basically the house of adventure. It's the house of us wanting new scenery, wanting to expand. Often we start some sort of learning program, or whether it's a certification, a metaphysical kind of learning program in astrology, for example, or it's a degree, a master's degree or a doctorate. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just, what is lighting you up? What would make you feel expanded? And because you get a trine from Libra energy, your air, Libra's air, you get a nice wind at your back. You're being flowed forward by this full moon. This should be a really lovely full moon for you. Mars is entering Leo in your seventh house. It is an opposition. Oppositions come up in our relationships, and Mars in your seventh house could be, oppositions are not always difficult or bad. However, Aquarius, because Pluto's in your sign and Mars is in the seventh house, opposing Pluto will be this month. Not the whole month, but part of the month. I give all the dates in the first half of this video, but because of that, if you do have any planets or points in your sign or in Leo around 3 degrees, then you will feel this opposition more intensely, for sure. It is an intense opposition. I'm not going to downplay that, but it's also going to show you, if it is quite uncomfortable or painful for you, it's going to show you what has to go, where you have to cut ties, where you need to set boundaries. You get the idea. And the focus with Mars in your seventh is often very much on relationships. It can be business or personal relationships. Aquarius, Taurus season is happening for you in your fourth house of home and family. You see, we have a lot of fixed energy this month. Why? Because Taurus is fixed energy. Mars going into Leo is fixed energy. What that means for you is that you may feel the second half of the month more intensely than you will the first half, where you're getting more of this ease and flow from the Libra energy, from the Aries energy. But the good news about the tension and the pressure from squares and oppositions is that it gets us going. We feel we've got to take action. We make decisions. this is when we see results. It's these harder aspects that give us the results often that we want. Not that we can't get results from trines and sextiles, but we get moving. We get moving. So Aquarius, have you felt stalled out at all? Or have you felt like the energy's been a bit stagnant? We have been in a period of reflection with Mercury and Venus retrograde for sure. And Mars retrograde before that, Mars still in shadow, all of that. Okay, so back to this new moon in Taurus. It's happening in your 4th house. This means you're meant to set intentions for anything to do with your home, your family. Do some of you inner child healing, some of you ancestral healing. This is about your material security, your desire to feel rooted. This could be like your ideal home for some of you. And this is going to probably be a full moon because it squares you, where you're taking back your power in some way with that Mars Pluto opposition, taking back your power, asserting yourself, clarifying what you most want and need right now, Aquarius. Let me shuffle for you and see what the cards have to say. Because this is your 4th house of home and family where the new moon is, but the Mars Pluto opposition is your 1st and 7th. So that's identity, that's the other person or other people in your life that are important to you, and then your home and family. That triangle of energy is all flowing energy, and it may feel a bit tight. It may feel tight, it may feel painful, it may feel just something's got to give. It could feel like any of those things, but enthusiasm, power, decision making, those are all important things too. Aquarius, your card is crystal clear intentions. Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus on it with unwavering faith. How perfect is this card? Archangel Michael helps us to purge fears. Pluto transits often bring up fears from our unconscious. We all know this, but just a reminder, this card is reminding all of us, right? If we have intentions to align our energy, to flow our energy in the direction of what our hearts most want, the highest octave of joy, love, freedom, creativity, beauty, all the things that so many of us want, love, if we do, then where intention goes, energy flows. Beautiful. Aquarius, if this resonates, I would love to hear. Leave me a comment down below. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, my good news for you for the month of April is that Mars, which has been in Cancer, your opposing sign, opposite you on the zodiac wheel, which means Mars has been opposing your Capricorn energy. It is finally leaving the sign of Cancer, entering Leo. And for you, that could be a welcome sense of relief. Now, we begin the month for you with the sun still in Aries, and that is your 4th house of home, family, roots, childhood conditioning, your house in which you want to feel that you are in your sanctuary and that your roots are down deep into the earth. What's significant about the sun in Aries this month is that Neptune has just moved into Aries, and now they are both here, and Neptune is going to be in your 4th house of home until 2039, with the exception of a 3-month period when it retrogrades back into Pisces. So this is really important. What does it mean? It means that you are, wherever we have Neptune transiting in our chart, is where we are seeding our intentions for an ideal vision, how we want it to be, what Mary Oliver calls the soft animal of your body, what the soft animal of your body loves and needs to feel at home, to feel in, attuned to your soul, in alignment with what your heart most wants. So for you, this is, where's my ideal home? Where do I want to live? Is there a relationship with a family member that needs to shift or change? And this is, again, it's going on for over a decade for you. So that's very, very important. Now, Venus and Mercury are stationing direct this month in Pisces, and This is happening in your third house of your local environment, your mindset, your thinking. Has your mind been a bad neighborhood, Capricorn? If it has, if you've gone through some anxious moments, if you've had, um, frustrations in your fourth house of home, because it's also been in Aries part of the time, or these planets have been retrograde in Aries part of the time, this is where you've done deep reflection in this third and fourth house. And also for those of you who are freelancers, who do writing or speaking, who do put messages out to others, you could have felt it in those areas as well. You could have also felt it in relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and neighbors. Your own neighborhood could have felt somewhat chaotic, or just that things are like it's under construction, metaphorically speaking. Now, the good news is that Pisces energy for you, Capricorn, it makes a sextile to your energy. And so that is ease and flow. And that's also harmoniously bringing you opportunities and solutions. There is some sort of awakening, some sort of revelation, most likely, that has occurred for you that may have reprioritized how you're spending your time, what you're doing, how you're focusing your energy. Now, the full moon in Libra will be in your 10th house of career, legacy, life purpose expressed, retirement or semi-retirement, how you spend your time, what's important to you, your passion, how you see your life purpose, what you want to be doing that's fulfilling to you. That's where the full moon is for you. I think some of you may be making a change in your 10th house of career, or this could be your fourth house. Why? Because fourth house of home and family. Why? Because Chiron is making an opposition to this full moon, and Chiron is in your fourth house. And there's a square dynamic that you'll be feeling during this full moon. And when a moon squares our energy, usually that means a decision, a crossroads, some sort of a change, some sort of a course correction that we're making. It doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be life changing, but something that, it's not an eclipse, but something that is going to require some action. Let's say that squares require action. And we're motivated. That's the good news. We're very motivated with the square. Mars leaving Cancer, Capricorn, I already mentioned that. It's leaving your 7th house of partnerships. You could have made some cuts, or set clear boundaries with people with Mars in your 7th house, significant people in your life. It's going into Leo, which is your 8th house. And Leo energy in your 8th house, it's about power. It's about you being your spiritual royalty self. It's about you being a leader, and however you experience leadership. We all lead in some way by example, right? Doesn't have to be the traditional form of what we see as leadership. But the 8th house is where we're sharing resources with partners. It's where we're getting sometimes money, financial help, gifts, blessings from other people. We could be getting it from institutions as well, financial institutions. This is also the house of assets and real estate. And so with Mars entering Leo in your 8th house, Mars in the 8th house is often a very transformational cycle. We are often moving through a very, like, an inner death and rebirth. And it's an important time to be mindful of power struggles, boundaries, setting boundaries, all of that. Especially important because Pluto this month will make an opposition to that Mars in Leo. And that is can be quite an intense transit. Now, the sun moving into Taurus on the 19th for you is lovely because you're going to get a trine, and it's also happening in your 5th house of creativity, children, love, and romance, and pleasures and fun. And go have fun. Go have fun, Capricorn. That's my quote unquote advice. How often do we get, the sun only goes through our 5th house once a year, and we only get a trine. We don't always get, obviously you will always get a trine from Taurus energy because you're Capricorn, you're Earth, and Taurus is Earth, and you trine each other. But this is also the house of freedom. This is the house of, when the sun goes through this house, you could have more interactions with children if you don't have your own children. You could, they can be spontaneous moments of joy. More opportunities to do things that just make you happy that you weren't planning on, taking more adventures. These are all really good ways to use this energy. The new moon is happening in this 5th house too. New moons are the beginning of a new manifestational cycle. You're meant to set intentions here. This is a kind of a crunchy new moon. Why is it a crunchy new moon? Because, and I've never used that word crunchy before this video, but I don't know, my guides want me to use it, I guess. It's crunchy because there's a T-square happening. The sun and the moon are making a T-square to the Mars-Pluto opposition. And Mars and Pluto are on your financial axis, your partnership axis. Partnerships in terms of how you share money and resources. This is the axis, the 8th house, where Mars in Leo is for you, is, you know, where we have emotional attachments, where we have control. We can have control issues, so to speak. I don't like that term, control issues. I mean, what human doesn't have control issues? Come on. We all want the material resources that will make us feel more secure. That's a human thing. But because this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 5th house of fun, pleasure, creativity, and all those delightful things, and yet there's tension between that and your financial partnership axis. You could be negotiating with a partner or be in a power struggle or be renegotiating something that has to do with money, resources, and maybe you want to go on a trip, or maybe you want to do something, a creative project that's going to cost a certain amount of money, and you feel like there's tension between that and what feels easy or doable financially. So, but Pluto says purge your fears. You know, let the fears come up. It's unconscious stuff, Pluto. And when you're in a power struggle, someone has to let go of the rope. Right, Capricorn? Someone has to. All I can say with Pluto transit, well, not all I can say, but all I can say here without going on and on with Pluto transits is there's a level of acceptance of the other and a level of us tuning into what we most want and deciding, intuiting what is not negotiable, and then giving ourselves permission to go after to reclaim our power to have what we know we need and desire in our life. So let's pull a card for you now, beautiful Capricorn, and see what your message is from the cards. Your card is Moon Cycles, Archangel Haniel. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. So this card is bringing you into a deeper level of your own manifestational ability. If you're not already very attuned to the manifestational cycles that happen with a new moon and full moon and all the moons in between, moon cycles, this is saying it's time now, because you are increasing your level of power to manifest, beautiful Capricorn. And you already, being an earth sign, are a master manifester. But the angels want to help you even more. Maybe keep a moon cycle journal or notebook or something to begin to notice and write down how the moons are affecting you. That's your message from the cards. Beautiful, beautiful light here. Also, I see these doves of peace. If you want to claim your peace or your abundance, beautiful Capricorn, let me know in the comments below. You will inspire all of us. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, beautiful Sag. What I love about April for you is that Neptune leaving Pisces and moving into Aries is a breath of fresh air for you. Why do I say this? Because Pisces energy squares your energy. It is more challenging. It is more of an uphill climb. And Neptune is about our dreams, our visions, the things that we long for, the things that our heart wants most. So for you, beautiful Sag, Neptune moving into Aries is a trine. It's the wind at your back. It is the spark of fire, igniting your fire, Sag. So this is really good news. Not only this, but because Aries energy is your 5th house, the sun being here still for part of this month, and Neptune now being here in your 5th house until 2039, with the exception of 3 months, during a retrograde back into Pisces. But much of this year and beginning January of 2026, Neptune is here in your fifth house, really lighting up this house of creativity. This is your unbridled free expression. This is the house of children and childlike moments. You being a kid again, the house of inner child delight, also love and romance. So, how beautiful to have Neptune in your fifth house for, you count the years between 2025 and 2039, 14 years, right? That is pretty, I think that is quite lovely. Now, Sag, in addition to this, Venus and Mercury are stationing direct this month. And where they have been for you, they've been in your fourth and fifth houses. They're stationing direct in Pisces. Pisces does make a square to your energy. It is your fourth house. And so you could have been reflecting on, or needing to make a decision having to do with your home, a family relationship, your family environment, your roots. Basically, Venus and Mercury here in your fourth house are saying, or have been saying, what do you need to feel more secure? What do you need to feel like your home is more of a the sanctuary that you want? And that sounds funny. These planets stationing direct, these planets stationing direct in your fourth house are saying that you received some sort of information that is going to be helpful to you going forward. Venus going direct is often, well, for many of us, will be a redirect of our priorities. We'll be reprioritizing something that has perhaps come to your attention during this retrograde. Sag, we're going to have a full moon in Libra this month, and it's happening for you in your 11th house. Libra energy is air, you're fire, and you get a sextile. So you're getting a lot of really yummy gifts this month, sweet gifts. A sextile, solutions, opportunities. Your 11th house is supportive people, friendships, social media platforms, the world, the house of dreams and fulfillment. What do you want most now, Sag? Because an 11th house full moon means something's coming to fruition, manifestation, or closure in these areas that I just mentioned. And you could also, because full moons happen on an axis, which is your 11th and 5th house, you could also experience some sort of healing having to do with love, romance, children, or creativity. Mars is, or an ending could happen as well. Mars is leaving Cancer and entering Leo. This is also good news for you, for your human self at least, because it means you're going to get a trine from that Leo energy, Sag, and it's happening in your 9th house of expansion. And this is also, well, anything that expands you. So it can be long distance travel. It can be moving to another country. It could be publishing or teaching something, new horizons, new adventures, new learning. And this is a trine. I think I already said that you get a trine from that energy. So Mars in your 9th house could have you buying a plane ticket. It could have you booking an Airbnb. I know these are kind of the same thing. It could have you signing up for an astrology reading with me. 9th house is astrology. It could, you get the idea. Like there's an invitation for you to expand with Mars moving through your 9th house and spiritually expand. Intellectually expand for some of you, however you are feeling called. The sun entering Taurus is happening in your 6th house. This is also where we will have a new moon in Taurus on the 27th of this month. The 6th house is your health. So your focus with the sun, it's going to move to your 6th house. That's where the new moon will be. What is this? It's your health. It's your habits. Addictions for some of us, our daily work, so our work environment, our coworkers. Basically, the 6th house is the house of detoxing, purifying, and also just fine-tuning our lifestyle and our habits and our daily, the way we work and the way we set up our time and our schedules and all that, how we manage our energy. It's really the house of optimal health, which comes from managing our energy in an optimal way, right? which most of us are always fine-tuning and tweaking and changing. Also, that new moon, it makes a T-square to Mars and Pluto, which is on your 3rd and 9th house axis, and this is the axis of growth and learning. So, you know, many of us will be setting boundaries during that new moon. I hope I said new moon in Taurus. Many of us will be setting boundaries, but the 9th house too is that house of expansion where Mars will be, and that's revving you up in a good way for a new horizon or new adventure. You could be cutting ties to something. Pluto transiting your 3rd house can be a relationship with a sibling that is disruptive in some way or shocking, something happening that's shocking for you. Someone making a power play. It could be a neighbor. It could be someone in an extended family member. Or it could be something happening in your local area that feels plutonic, that is shocking in some way, or feels where you feel powerless. And of course, it's all about the guidance for all of these transits that involve Pluto. Take back your power, because we're moving on to new horizons and our souls have already grown so much, and there's certain things that we can't take with us. Sag, I have been shuffling for you, and let us see what your angels and guides have to say to you. Sag, for this month of April, your card is Clairaudience, Archangel Zadkiel. Notice the loving guidance that you hear inside your mind or from other people, those things that we know without knowing how we know them. So cool. Messages are coming to you. Now, you know what, how I relate this to the astrology is that Pluto in your 3rd house, Pluto transiting your 3rd house, the 3rd house is often the divine downloads. It's a mercurial house. And this axis of the 3rd and 9th house, where Mars will be opposing Pluto this month, is where we often get, messages. It's the axis of growth and learning. So I love this for you, clairaudience, channeling, speaking, sharing. If you've been wanting to have a spiritually based business, if you've been wanting to do readings, tarot readings or some sort of, mediumship or anything like that, or you just want to expand your own clairaudience superpowers, this card is a big validation of that for you. Beautiful, Sag. And I love all the purple and the pink too, which the purple to me is crown chakra energy. And the crown chakra, things coming through just because the divine is speaking to you. So, so very lovely and sweet. If you want to claim your channeling ability or your clairaudience expanding, after all, you've got Mars in your 9th house of expansion. So cool. If you want to claim any of this, beautiful Sag, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio. This month opens for you with the Sun and Neptune in Aries until 2039, with the exception of 3 months when it retrogrades back into Pisces. But all of this new beginnings energy, and this is also where we had the eclipse at the end of March, all of this new beginnings energy that we are still in as April begins, we're still in that eclipse energy. This is happening in your 6th house of daily work, your habits, your health routines, your lifestyle. This is the house of optimal health. It's the house of us managing our energy to the extent that we can to have the best feeling days, right? Day in and day out. This is the house of that, day in and day out. And so it's a call to detoxify anything in our work environment, in the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, our habits, our how much breathing that we do, how much recycling, not recycling, how much, releasing that we do to refresh our energetic being. And it's also the house of pets. So this is going to be a huge focus for you. Neptune will be here for many, many years until 2039. And so to me, your soul, knowing this, your soul really wanted you to have an experience the next 14 years of self-mastery around your energy. And of course, this will involve your spiritual practices. It will involve how you feel and care for your emotions, your mental state, as well as your physical being and the lifestyle that you co-create with the divine that brings you to into a feeling of optimal wellness. So that's pretty cool, Scorpio. Now, Venus and Mercury are stationing direct this month for you in Pisces. And this trines your energy, and it's happening for you in your 5th house of creativity, children, love, and romance. So this is a lovely place for Venus and Mercury to turn direct. What did you learn, Scorpio, while Venus was retrograde in your 5th house of love and romance, creativity, children? I'm guessing that a lot of you had some sort of awakening, aha moment, revelation, or something happened that could have been important for you, significant for you, especially with both Venus and Mercury here in the 5th house. So now it's forward momentum time in these areas of your life. Freedom, fun, pleasure. Maybe you didn't get to have enough of that with the Venus and Mercury retrogrades. Now you get your permission slip for recess. Beautiful Scorpio. The full moon in Libra is happening mid-month on the 12th for you in your 12th house. So the 12th house and Chiron, the planet of helping us heal a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. Chiron is where we get triggered emotionally. And we often feel it in Aries energy, where Chiron is in sense of our sense of worthiness, our performance. Like it's where we can feel like we have to be really good at something. We have to be successful, that kind of thing. We have to perform well. That's the Chiron. Chiron is in your 6th house. The full moon, the actual moon, is in the 12th. The sun and Chiron will be in your 6th house. What does this mean? This full moon is happening on your axis of health and healing, basically, and also your daily work environment. But the moon itself will be in the 12th house. And when we have a full moon in the 12th house, that is very spiritually dynamic. It's often where we go really deep. We have big epiphanies and awarenesses. That is definitely a full moon, Scorpio, to go outside and look at the moon if you can see it and really tune into her, really let her energy come into you. Focus on her and get a sense of what message she has for you, because that's the 12th house. That's the house of channeling. That's the house of where we get those awarenesses that so many of us would like to have, and to commune with the moon. I mean, I am ruled by the moon, so I have to say, give that disclaimer, but the moon has so much to share with us. And a full moon, there are a few things as beautiful as a full moon, Scorpio, in my view, in my very biased view. So anyway, this is a full moon where you are very likely to receive a revelation, and a full moon that is saying if there's anything toxic in your daily life, it's time to release it. And that is, for some people, some sort of habit or addiction. For others, it's a toxic boss or work environment. For others, it can be something that feels like it's whittling away at your energy or draining your energy in some way. Now, Scorpio, Mars moving into Leo for you. Mars will move into Leo in your 10th house of career. So Mars in the 10th house is where we get revved up, oftentimes the desire, the motivation, the drive in a career matter really feels palpable. And so for you, this is career, but if you don't have a career, it could be legacy, it could be retirement, semi-retirement, it could be you're expressing your life purpose in some way, it could be just how you want to spend your days in and out. And I know that's not career for everyone, but it is an important house for you because it's the most public house, and it's often where we are seen by others, and where we do, if you're retired, for example, and you volunteer, we would put your volunteering time in this 10th house. This when Mars moves into Leo, it will make a trine to Neptune and Aries, and that trine is happening. Well, Neptune and Aries is in your sixth house. So what does that mean? That means that sixth house matters, which again are the health of our body, our routines, and our daily work environment. There's a lovely flow of energy between Neptune. Neptune there is saying, what do you want your daily life to look and feel like? And then Mars in your 10th house of career is saying, how do these complement each other? How can we bring about flow and ease and joy and sustenance and satisfaction in how we spend our time? And finally, beautiful Scorpio, the sun is going to move into Taurus this month as well when we get to the 19th of the month. And that means you'll have the sun transiting your 7th house of partnerships. It's an opposition for you, and oppositions show up in our relationships, and it doesn't have to be a committed romantic partnership or a marriage partner or a significant other with whom you live. It can be a business partner, it can be a best friend, it can be anyone that you have a commitment to, whether spoken or unspoken, and they give the same back to you. The new moon is here in Taurus in your 7th house, and this is where you're setting intentions for what you want your relationships to feel like, the dynamics and all of that, a vision perhaps for a relationship for you, any kind of relationship, again, as long as there's some sort of agreement or commitment involved. And because Mars and Pluto are opposing each other in your career, on the axis of your career, home, and family, you could feel a push-pull, you could feel tension, you could feel a power struggle in your career or home and family life. And the sun and moon are making a T-square to that opposite Mars-Pluto opposition. So this is a call to balance your needs, Scorpio, your needs with the needs of the other, whoever the other is, whoever you're spending time with or talking to during this new moon, and your home and family career needs. That's all you're going to be juggling, so to speak, balancing all of that. Stay true to you, Scorpio. Stay true to you as you move through this intense dynamic. And it will be intense, most likely for anyone who has planets or points around 7 to 8 degrees of the fixed energy in your chart, which includes your own energy. Okay, Scorpio. So let us now see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Scorpio. Your card is Teaching and Learning, Archangel Zadkiel. Keep an open mind and learn new ideas. Then you will teach these ideas to others. Scorpio, do you resonate with this card? What is this card saying to you? It's saying that whatever you're going through right now is very important to your growth, and that you are going to share whatever you learn from it. It doesn't have to be a challenging thing, but if you go through something challenging, you are going to end up being the light for others and helping them. The full moon is in your 12th house, and the 12th house is where we often receive a lot of evolutionary soul growth. We can have karmic or fated meetings with people with 12th house energy, especially. So it's possible, Scorpio, that something would happen for you around that full moon time that is also really going to expand you, and or the new moon, which makes that square to, actually makes the new moon makes an opposition to your energy. So this is going to be a month where you will look back and say, wow, I grew and learned such and such during that month. And then if you can keep in mind that the whole purpose of this on a soul level was so that you could help others. That may help if you go through anything challenging. Beautiful Scorpio. If anything that I shared in your monthly horoscope resonates for you, leave me a comment. I would absolutely love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra. Guess what? Your ruler, Venus, is turning direct this month. This is great news for you. The sun in Aries along with Neptune in Aries, and Neptune just landed there at the end of March. They are going to be in your 7th house of partnerships. Of course, you must know this. Most of you know this. Aries energy is across from you on the zodiac wheel. Whatever goes on in Aries is a big, big deal. Neptune in Aries is a big, big deal for you. Neptune is your vision. Neptune is what your heart most wants and longs for, and it is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. This is all partnerships, business and personal. And what it's saying is that until 2039, with the exception of 3 months, from October to January of 2026, with the exception of that short time period, you are going to have Neptune in your transiting your 7th house of partnerships for 14 years. Wow, 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 Libra. So, you know, it can also be a time when we feel disillusioned by a current relationship where we feel like, how did I end up here? And if that's happening, you want to be really extra gentle with yourself, because we're all on this journey, this spiritual journey that is a human adventure, right? And it ain't easy. It ain't easy. For most of us, it's definitely earth school for sure. But beautiful Libra, what I love about the Sun in Aries and Neptune in Aries is, even though it makes an opposition to you, it's still fire and you are still air. And, you know, people might argue with me about this, but in my experience, there is a strong attraction. Opposites do attract. People, you know, Aries energy, you are probably very strongly attached. You could be attached, very strongly attracted to Aries energy, but then they often repel as well. The point is, air energy needs fire. Air energy needs fire to get activated. And you're going to have that for sure for the next 14 years with Neptune here. Now, Venus and Mercury are stationing direct in Pisces in your 6th house. What does this mean for you? First of all, Venus and Mercury stationing direct is really good news, especially because Venus is your chart ruler, and having your chart ruler retrograde can feel like a real wet blanket. It can feel like, why am I here? What happened to the things that I love? Why are things not going my way? It can just kind of be a downer for sure. But now that they're stationing direct in your 6th house of daily routines, the 6th house is also your work environment. You could have gone through, with Venus and Mercury retrograde here, an upsetting situation at work, something upsetting around your health, something to do with a pet that was not good news. But now that they are moving direct, now you're going to feel more in your power to change what needs to change and to reprioritize what needs to be moved around so that you meet the needs that have to be met, Libra. It's a time to really be clear on what you need and to go for what you need with unwavering faith. Now, the full moon in your sign, very important when we have a full moon in our own sign, right? A full moon in your own sign is basically bringing you to some sort of completion, culmination, change. Where is it happening? In your 1st house, because it's your sign, and the 1st house is how you see yourself. You may feel around this full moon time, which is on the 12th of the month, that something is shifting in terms of how you see yourself. A role, a status, could be a marital status. It could be a status, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, you know, all that. Somebody that you love, let's just keep it at that. Also, though, something to do with your appearance, something to do with your vitality, your physical sense of your physical energy. And so what's most significant in terms of the aspects being made to this full moon, I will do a separate video for everyone on this, but what's most significant is that it makes an opposition to Chiron in Aries, and that will likely bring up an emotional sensitivity if it's happening anywhere near your Libra energy in your chart in terms of the degrees in your natal chart. But a full moon in our sign moves us forward because it closes something out, it brings something full circle, it can feel like a graduation moment, and then we can see what we didn't see before. It brings a revelation oftentimes, and then we can move forward. Mars leaving Cancer is good news for you, Libra, because Cancer energy squares your energy, and that's discomfort. And Mars has been in Cancer in your 10th house of career. So, has anything happened in your career life that has felt um, discombobulating or stressful or not what you expected? Something you've had to course correct around? Like something ending, or maybe having to cut ties yourself to a job or something career related, or if not career, how you spend your time, retirement, legacy, all those things. Could be volunteering, however you spend your time. It's moving into Leo, Libra. You'll benefit from this because it's getting late. You can see I started in the light and now it's dark, and I'm like, my energy, I did get up and take a break. I did go get some carrot juice. I am, but it's like, yeah, just the way the energy has been lately. I don't know how you guys have felt it, but I have felt like everything is taking me so much longer than I thought it would take. And that's partly because we have so much energy still in Pisces, and Pisces can just be more draining than other planetary energies. We are washing away an old cycle right now, and I'm feeling it too. So, anyway, back to you, Libra. Mars in Leo in your 11th house. This is a real pick me up energy for you. Mars is your inner engine, it's your life force energy. The sun is our life force, but Mars is how we take action and make things happen and we get going. And it's a fire, and that fire is really nice for you, that Leo fire. And it's your 11th house, which is what's your dream now? What's your hope now? What do you want to see fulfilled? Also, supporters, friendships, benefactors, um, social media platforms. The 11th house is the house of tribe, where we feel like we have people that support us, that see us for who we really are. Mars here could mean that you are doing more to get that support, that you are really listening to your heart and really listening to what is your current dream. It's the World card in the tarot. It's the world is your oyster. It's calling you to adventure. It's calling you to that's the roof creaking. It's calling you to expand in some way. You get a sextile from this energy. That's the fire to your air, and it's just so beautiful. And not only that, but we're going to get a trine this month from Mars in Leo to Neptune in Aries, and that Neptune in Aries is in your 7th house of ideal partners, business or romantic. And this means, I think, that you're going to be fired up this month with Mars here, Libra. You're going to be fired up to bring into reality a relationship that matches your own sense of the ideal. Let yourself dream, Neptune. Let yourself open up to what it would feel like to have a relationship that matches what you most want. And if it's not a relationship itself, maybe it is a relationship with your own soul or someone else that's very, very important. It doesn't have to be a lover. It doesn't have to be a spouse or someone that you live with. Finally, Libra, the sun in Taurus. Both you and Taurus are ruled by Venus. And the sun in Taurus will be coming out in your 8th house of power. So this is the house of transformation, death, and rebirth. The sun coming out on your financial assets, the sun coming out on your shared intimacy with a partner, with it's both sexual and emotional intimacy, shared resources, the house of death and rebirth. We can get into power struggles with 8th house transits, even transits from the sun. So be aware, Libra, you're really good at creating win-win solutions. You're really good at being diplomatic. And you're also, though, you can be very good at, not setting boundaries. So that's possible too. But just know that not only will the sun be here, but we're going to have a new moon here at the end of the month on the 27th. And this means that you are going to really probably be thinking a lot about savings, investments, if you have savings or investments, financial security, big picture financial security, how you're sharing money or resources with a partner. Some of you could be dividing assets during this time because of the Mars-Pluto opposition that I speak about in the first part of this video that makes it, the moon makes a T-square to that opposition. So you could be dividing assets. You could be making new arrangements for how you share resources. You could be thinking about clients. Any of these things are possible. Beautiful Libra. When I see that you're having a new moon in the 8th house of power, I have to say, take back your power. Imagine what you most need and want for your material security, for intimacy on whatever level you want that. This is a time to dream that, to dream big, to say yes to your heart, and to cut out anything from your life that is toxic. That's a big message from that Mars-Pluto opposition. We can't continue, we can, but very much to our detriment to continue in toxic situations. Okay, Libra, let me pull a card for you now. Libra, we just had the solar eclipse in Aries. That was at the end of this month. That was really encouraging you to create a new reality for partnership. Easier said than done, I know, especially if you are in a codependent relationship, but with a Mars-Pluto opposition, it's saying codependence no more. Yes, that is the name of a book. Is that Melody Beatty? That could be your mantra, Libra. And I'm not saying this applies to all of you, but to some of you, the mantra may be codependent no more. Okay. And joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. That's your birthright. Beautiful Libra. Your card is victory. Yes. Archangel Sandalphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. What are you praying for? This is victory. You know what I love about this, Libra, is Aries is also the sign of victory, and Aries is where the Sun and Neptune are in your house of partnership in Aries. This is so cool. There's a lot of purple energy in this card too. This really is about you keeping that divine connection and having faith that your prayers can be answered. Whatever your mind perhaps has been saying about the reasons you can't have what you want, this is saying time to think differently, time to know, feel, sense that what you want is yours and is coming to you, that you are victorious. If you want to claim your victory, beautiful Libra, let us hear in the comments below. I would love to know. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, Mercury, your ruler, is turning direct. This is great, great news for you. Why? Because as we know, the mind can be a bad neighborhood, and Mercury retrogrades are famous for that monkey mind, for that anxiety, for the overwhelm. If you have felt any of that, I certainly experienced some of that during this Mercury retrograde. The good news is, and I'm a Gemini, so I am also Mercury ruled like you, at least my sun sign is. Virgo, the good news is that many of those annoyances that you could have experienced during the Mercury retrograde, those of us who have, one of our big three that is Mercury ruled, sun, moon, or rising, we experience Mercury retrogrades more intensely. So that's shifting. Venus and Mercury both are turning direct in Pisces, which is your opposite sign, the 7th house. So when they were retrograde in Pisces, you could have felt tension, pressure, stress with a partner, whether business or personal. Now there's clarity. Now there's very likely clarity that you are receiving or have already received regarding a relationship in your 7th house. Doesn't have to be just someone you live with or a marriage partner. It can be any relationship in which you have a spoken or unspoken commitment to support one another. The Sun in Aries and Neptune in Aries are in your house of power, transiting your house of power, the 8th house, power and control. Why is this important for you? Well, specifically Neptune in Aries until 2039. Oh my goodness, Virgo. Wow, Neptune in your 8th house. Okay, some of you want to buy a house. That's the 8th house. Some of you want to have a healthy retirement fund or investments that you feel good about. Others of you want to feel like there is a healthy power dynamic between you and a significant other, or maybe you want to attract a significant other, and maybe you want to have an emotionally and sexually intimate, satisfying partnership. This is all 8th house stuff. You could be wanting to pay off a loan, or, this is basically, it's a financial and a partnership house where we are sharing resources with others. So any of those themes could come up for you while Neptune is here for the next 14 years. Also, Virgo, the South Node is in your sign right now. Of course, the North Node is in Pisces. The South Node is in your sign. And just so you know, go back and watch the first part of this video, because I give you the dates and the transits where the North Node is going to be making conjunctions to different planets, Venus and Saturn. And then that means it will be making an opposition to the South Node in your sign. And that's also something to make note of, because that's where you're letting go any of the shadow aspects of Virgo, which you may be aware of. I talk about this in my North Node video, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo video, but you may be aware of being detoxified, so to speak, of overthinking, analysis paralysis, perfectionism, where we go so deep into the details that we lose the big picture view of the forest, so to speak, the forest from the trees metaphor. And so that's not always easy, but just so you know, Virgo, you're not the only one going through that. That's big picture for all of us, but especially the mutable signs are feeling it most intensely. For all of us, we are meant to shed that and love ourselves exactly the way we are. Give ourselves those hugs, give ourselves the TLC and the it's going to be okay. And I know this is hard, but I'm with you and I will never ever leave you, and all of that. Speaking that way to the child within us can really bring peace and calm to our nervous systems. The full moon in Libra for you is happening in your 2nd house. And this is the house of earned income, your values, your self-love, your deserving. Speaking of self-love, what I just spoke about, it will oppose Chiron in your 8th house. So you may feel triggered by an 8th house theme. I just went into all those 8th house themes when I talked about Neptune and Aries. This is where you may be healing a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. It could come up in a relationship. It could come up in a relationship, especially where you are sharing financial resources or where you're receiving financial resources from that person. And though big picture, the full moon is in your 2nd house, which means your own earned income and you feeling like I am materially secure. I am self-reliant. I am taking care of myself and I'm providing for myself on a material level. That's this full moon. Mars in Leo, Virgo, is going to be transiting your 12th house. Mars in Cancer was transiting your 11th house of friendships and support. And that could have, and social media, that could be where you have had to assert boundaries, where you've had to advocate for yourself. But now in your 12th house, this is a deeper dive. It's much more personal. It's much more internal, I think is the right word, is the better word than personal. An internal transit. Mars in the 12th house, sometimes we have very deep dreams. We have past life stuff come up in our dreams. We have, it's the house of the subconscious. Also the collective unconscious, so we can feel the collective more. We're much more sensitive with a Mars in the 12th house transit. So be extra gentle with yourself, Virgo, during the Mars in Leo time. Give yourself rest, let yourself retreat, do what you need to nurture your spiritual self. Your mystical self needs nurturing during this time. This is the time to do that. Mars and Leo will make a beautiful trine to Neptune in your 8th house of power. And this is really lovely for your vision, for you, working with your divine helpers, with your own soul to bring about this new reality that Neptune is helping you to create in your 8th house. And finally, the sun in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus are happening in your 9th house of expansion, Virgo. growth and learning, publishing, teaching, new scenery, new adventures, visas, long distance travel. This is where the new moon is happening for you. You get a trine from this energy, your earth to Taurus's earth. And even though we're going to have this challenging Mars-Pluto opposition, it's still a trine. You're still getting a trine. Just keep in mind that that Mars-Pluto opposition is happening on your 6th and 12th house axis. So that's the healing axis. You may be healing something. You may be calming your mind. You may be having a spiritual moment with, a deep dive kind of moment on a spiritual level. You may be cleansing your emotions, any of those things. You could be physically healing from something, but you still get a lovely trine from the sun in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus. Set your intentions for expansion. How do you want to expand? What do you want to do? Do you want to do a new learning program? Do you want to travel? Do you want to write something? Do you want to teach something? In some way, you are meant to expand on a spiritual or intellectual level during this month, Virgo. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Virgo, your card is, I love this card. You are safe. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael helps us release fear. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding your loved ones and your home. You know what I love about this card as it relates to the astrology is that the new moon in Taurus, this talks about protecting you against lower energies. And the new moon in your 9th house T-squares that 6th and 12th house axis, that 6th and 12th house axis where Mars and Pluto will be opposing each other. That is often where we encounter lower energies, like toxic work environments, our own addictive tendencies, our fears, our subconscious mind. So any of that Mars Pluto energy, if you experience it, this card is saying Archangel Michael is helping you to release those fears, is helping you to recognize them and purge them, is helping you to remember to breathe, is helping you to know and remember that you are safe. You are safe. You are protected. You are guarded. You are guided. You are powerfully guided. So tune into Archangel Michael this month if that would be helpful. And if you want to claim your protection, your grounding, and that you are safe and your loved ones are safe, or anything else you want to share, beautiful Virgo, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, guess what? Mars is re-entering your sign. It's going to finish out its transit in your energy and move forward from there. Clear shadow in May. And as it re-enters your sign, you could feel like you're starting to get your mojo back. If you feel like you haven't been motivated, like things have not been moving. This has been a very long Mars transit. It has been a lengthy, at least feeling on an emotional level, Mars retrograde. And Mars is finally moving forward, moving on in your sign, Leo. I think that is a very, very good news. Now, the other good news for you is that the sun will still be in Aries. Aries trines your energy, and Neptune is now in Aries until 2039, with the exception of 3 months between October and January. But basically for the next 14 years, besides that 3-month period, you are getting a trine from Neptune, the planet of your new reality, your visions, your heart's longings, what you want to bring into reality. You are getting a trine from that energy to your energy, Leo. This is very, very supportive for anything that your heart truly, truly desires. Not only this, but this Neptune and Aries transit is happening for you in your 9th house of expansion. The 9th house is where we see beyond, the small, that there's that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Like the 9th house is where we elevate out, where we can transcend. We can see beyond the minutia of life and where we are meant to open up, where we're meant to get excited. We're meant to feel passionate, to feel the truth of who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience. This is also the house where people love to learn more, like about astrology, to get a degree or a doctorate or a master's or any degree, or also to do a metaphysical learning program. Again, it's the house of expansion. It's where we want to learn more, where we're growing, where we're publishing. Some people will, during a ninth house transit, they will publish a book. They will start teaching. They will move to another country. It's also the house of new horizons, other cultures. They will learn a language, or at the very least travel long distance. So Leo, are you feeling it? Are you feeling that desire to expand? Because this is what's going to be happening for you for the next 14 years. Now, Venus and Mercury are moving direct as well. This is more good news for everyone this month. For you, Venus and Mercury will shift into direct motion in your 8th house of power. So I'm wondering if you had any aha moment. The 8th house is the transformational house. It's the house of death and rebirth. It's the house of shared resources with partners, sharing money, time, energy, our sexuality, if it involves another person. Also emotional intimacy as well, and our assets, our nest eggs, retirement funds, any investments if you have them, real estate, loans, taxes, debts, all of that. So it's a house, I call it the house of emotional attachments, because all of those things, they trigger us emotionally, because they're all things that a lot of us want and that make us feel more secure. So with Mercury and Venus having, gone through this territory for you on retrograde, that means that you must have had, or very possibly had, depends on if the planets and points of the retrograde activated any planets and points in your chart. Did you have any sort of transformational moment or revelation around these things that I just mentioned? Very possible. Now it's direct. Now we can move forward. This is really good news. Leo, the full moon in Libra, which makes a sextile to your energy, an opportunity, a solution, for some fresh air coming in. This is happening for you in your house of, your 3rd house of your local environment, your hood, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, websites, freelance work, where you schmooze with other people, where you do your daily errands, and where the places that you go on a regular basis. Also your mindset, your communication, your devices, your vehicles. A full moon here means there's an ending, a completion, a manifestational cycle completing, something coming to fruition for you, possibly in this 3rd house. It's usually a busy lunation. When we have a new or full moon in the 3rd house, we're usually quite busy, because it's the house of, errands and things like it's the house of moving and shaking. We're always in a 3rd house. There's more busyness, and sometimes we're taking a short trip, we're doing a day trip, or a long weekend, something like that away. Mars, beautiful Leo, re-entering your sign, is going to make a lovely trine to Neptune and Aries. Where and how will you feel this? Mars in your sign, of course, is your 1st house of identity, the roles that you play, the house of you, the house of I am. It is trining. Mars will trine. As soon as it goes back into your sign, it will trine Neptune and Aries in your 9th house of expansion. So that 9th house is spiritually, it's meant to elevate us spiritually, or meant to elevate us intellectually. It's meant to open us up. This trine will likely make you feel, it just feels like fresh air to me, like a fresh breeze blowing in, new inspiration, new way of seeing, new perceptions, flying above your life and seeing from a different vantage point that is freeing for you, Leo, I feel. Leo, the sun in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus will be in your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement. This is also the house of life purpose expressed and just how you want to spend your time. It's volunteer work for some people. It's watching the clouds. I just got this image when I said that of somebody like just laying in a hammock. So it doesn't have to be work in the traditional sense by any means. But the new moon here in your 10th house makes a square to your energy. Your fixed energy, Taurus is fixed energy. The fixed signs, make oppositions or squares to one another. And what this tells me is that your energy, Leo, in the house of I am, your identity, the roles that you play, your titles, how you want to use your energy, and then the 10th house of career or legacy or retirement. Somehow there's a tension there. Somehow there's a decision you might have to make. Maybe you are making a major decision. Maybe you're at a crossroads. Maybe you're trying, you want to make a career move or a job move, or you want something more meaningful maybe than what you do now. There's an invitation for a new vision here because it's a new moon, seeding new intentions. But at the same time, there's that T square that I spoke about in part 1 of this video, which is Mars opposing Pluto. Mars in your first house, the first house of you, opposing Pluto in your 7th house of partners. Any significant relationship in your life, it can be a work relationship, it could be a boss. That opposition between you and the other, whoever that other is squaring that 10th house of like your most public self, how you spend your time. So what does that mean? It just means that you are, well, it could be a lot of different things really, but Mars Pluto says we got to release anything toxic. That's the big picture. We got to reclaim our power, step into our new self as this is evolving. You know, Pluto evolves us on a soul level. And with Mars in your sign, Leo, you know, either you're really, really inspired to come out in some way as a new person, new title, new career, new role, new status, or you're releasing something or both, and you're feeling it in a public way, in a career way, in a way that you know, interface, so to speak, with other people or in a partnership. So Leo, take back your power and all will be well. Don't let the naysayers bring you down. Let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. Shine your light, baby, shine your light. Your card, Leo, is leadership. Leo, this is you. Leadership. Archangel Gabriel. It is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. Leadership can be as simple as being a guide for others, setting an example through your own behavior, your own actions, your own way of being. It doesn't have to be becoming the CEO of a company. It doesn't have to be becoming a social activist, although that may be it for some of you. But in your own way, because I know I read charts for Leos and sometimes they'll tell me like, I don't relate to my Leo energy. I don't want to be on stage. That's just one way that Leo energy can play out. Lots of other expressions of it. And the most important thing with Leo energy is you giving your inner child the freedom to express your joy. What brings you joy, Leo? How would you like to be a guide for others if you would? Just being true to you and living your joy is leadership. If you want to claim this or anything else that you want to share in the comments below, let us know. We would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and my rising in Cancer. And what I am celebrating for all Cancers is that Mars is leaving our sign. And you know, when Mars first entered Cancer, I thought, this is great. I'm excited. And it does have its strong points. It definitely can help us to advocate for ourselves big time. Like really can help Cancers, because Cancers tend to feel other people's feelings and they don't, you know, we don't want to hurt anyone, all that stuff. You know it well, Cancer. I don't need to go into it. My point is that Mars in Cancer can bring up a lot of other stuff that I wasn't thinking it was going to bring up. So I, for one, am really happy that Mars is moving back into Leo, leaving our sign. And leave me a comment. Let me know if you're happy about that as well. Cancer, the Sun in Aries and Neptune now in Aries as of March 30th is transiting. This transit is happening for you in your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, and Life purpose expressed. What does this mean? It means that Neptune will be here for 14 years. Cancer, in your 10th house of career. Neptune is our vision. It's our longing. It's what our hearts want most. And it doesn't have to be career. It can be just how you want to spend your time. Many of you are probably, especially if you have any planets or points in the very early degrees of the cardinal signs will feel it most intensely, most personally. You could be feeling an intense drive to plan, to know, to create, co-create a new reality or a fine-tuned reality in your career life, or where you want to, how you want to spend your time. Venus and Mercury are stationing direct, yay, in Pisces, which trines your energy in your 9th house of expansion. And so this means that there's new energy now that Venus and Mercury are stationing direct. There's new energy, there's forward momentum, there's flow in your perceptions, basically. You could have felt with Venus and Mercury in Pisces retrograde, you could have felt, Cancer, that there could have just been a lot of static in your mind, past life stuff that sort of got in the way, like fears, current situations, but that were tinged with darkness or fear or anxiety because of this, static that was meant to come through and be cleared. You could have been purging through some of that or some fear during this retrograde. Now they're moving direct. Now we will be applying whatever we learned from that experience. And that was your 9th house. Also, if you've been wanting to do any sort of long distance travel, get a visa, teaching, learning, anything that was stalled or glitchy because of the retrograde, that should clear away now for you as well. The full moon in Libra, Cancer, is happening in your 4th house of home, family, roots, and childhood conditioning. Now, Cancer, you're ruled by the moon. We are ruled by the moon. What does that mean? It means whenever we have a new or full moon, Cancer people feel it more intensely, especially full moons. A full moon in Libra, when you are ruled by the moon and it squares your energy, which Libra does square our energy, and it's in the 4th house of home and family, it usually happens something to do with home or family. Personally, I do not, I'll be quite honest with you, like I do not celebrate or say, oh yay, I'm going to have a full moon that's squaring my energy when I'm ruled by the moon. Like that's just not, I'm highly, highly sensitive like you are, Cancer. We are highly, highly sensitive. We don't want disruptions in our home at all or with family. We don't want that, right? We don't want that. But what I'm feeling with this energy, because this full moon is happening very close to my moon, what I'm feeling about it is that we want to remember to call on our spiritual guidance. We want to put protective light around us. We want to remember that we are, all of these challenging moons, when they happen for us, they are pulling us up to the next level of our growth, our resilience, and all of that. Easy to say on a soul level, harder to experience on a human level. But when I look back to some of the most difficult full moons that I've experienced of late, I think of what happened and I go, okay, I got through that. Okay, that happened. I got through that. Yeah, that was shocking. Yeah, that was disruptive. Yeah. But I got through it. So that's what I'm remembering with this. This will probably be something completely different from any moon that has squared our energy recently, Cancer. And it could, because it's opposing Chiron, it could trigger it could be an emotional trigger within a relationship. Once again, we will rise to the occasion, we will move through it, and we will be stronger and more self-loving, Give yourself, I would say, take a stand right now. If this full moon is anywhere near the planets and points in your chart, which I discuss in part 1 of this video, take a stand for your own well-being. I will not allow any other person or situation to rob me of my emotional well-being. I will take care of myself first and foremost. Cancer, when Mars enters Leo, it will go into your 2nd house of money, earned income, self Worth, deserving, self-love, and it will make a trine to Neptune and Aries when it first enters Leo. Will make a trine to Neptune and Aries in your 10th house. So this brings up the themes. First of all, trines are beautiful. They're the wind at your back. They're ease and flow. They can be something landing in your lap. And second houses can be money. It can be a promotion. It can be you feeling a new sense of healthy entitlement. Making a trine to Neptune and Aries in your 10th house of career or public recognition, your own business, how you spend your time and energy, life purpose, legacy, all of those things. This is a really nice flow of energy of money and valuing yourself to 10th house matters. So that's quite wonderful. And you could receive some sort of opportunity that brings you more money, a career opportunity, opportunity to retire, basically how you want to spend your time. The sun in Taurus, Taurus energy also makes lovely, harmonizes with your energy beautifully. It's sextile energy, opportunities, solutions. The sun will enter Taurus on the 19th. It will go into your 11th house of dreams, social media platforms, your audience if you have one, supporters, friendships, tribe. Sextile means a new opportunity for you here. It means, something, a blessing coming in. And the new moon in this 11th house, same thing. What do you want for your 11th house matters? Maybe it's more community. Maybe it's friendship. Maybe it's you have a new dream. The world is your oyster in the 11th house. Maybe there's a new something that is your what would be fulfillment for you, Cancer. We just want to keep in mind that there is that T-square from Mars. The new moon is T-squaring Mars and Pluto, and that's in your house of financial resources and shared energy with partners, money, time, resources with partners, intimacy, emotional and sexual. It's all of those things. So I think a lot of Cancers are going to have their eye on their finances around this new moon time. I mean, after all, Taurus energy is also very much about material security and finances. And fears could come up around that with the Mars-Pluto opposition, but don't let that take away from the lovely sextile that you're getting from that new moon to your energy, beautiful Cancer, in your house of hopes, dreams, and fulfillment and supporters, friendships. Call a friend if you need to. If you need to have a talk, if you have worries and fears, come up, get support. That's where the new moon is giving you an opportunity. Okay, Cancer, your card. Your card is relationship harmony, Archangel Raguel. We angels are opening up the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. I love this so much. Wow. The angels are helping you to resolve any sort of conflict, either with another person, other people, or within yourself, Cancer. So what this brings up for me is that new moon in your 11th house of friendships. And then the T-square is happening on that second and 8th house axis, which is finances and deep intimacy with other people. If you're having any sort of power struggle with someone involving money or involving a debt, maybe involving sharing, dividing up time, money, or resources, could be clients too. It could be, any partner that is business or personal where you feel like there's a mutuality there or that you want a mutuality and that it's lacking in some way. Look, the angels are helping you resolve it. So beautiful. Archangel Raguel. And I do offer, by the way, relationship harmony readings. That's what I call them on my website, if that calls to you as well. Beautiful Cancer. If anything I shared with you in this horoscope resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini. And this horoscope reading, where all of these transits are happening in which houses, applies specifically to Gemini risings, but you can also listen to the themes for your moon or your sun sign as well. What is great news for all Gemini energies, whether it's your sun, moon, rising, Venus, anything, any planet in Gemini in your chart, is that Mercury, your ruler, is stationing direct. And I am celebrating that. Why? Because the mind can be a bad neighborhood and Mercury can bring about a lot of annoyances. I definitely experienced some of that. Gemini, did you? Leave me a comment if you want to share, but I think it's so funny now. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. Whenever I went to a cafe to work, I mean, this happened like 2 weeks in a row, I would have people who would sit down and then they would have like a really loud phone conversation or, conference call or whatever. No headphones, no earbuds or any of that. I have different sense of manners around that stuff, but like I was like, okay, the universe is clearly trying to get my attention here. I'm so sensitive. I cannot concentrate when someone's sitting right next to me and like presenting to a group of people on their phone, whatever. Gems. Let's talk about you. The sun in Aries and Neptune in Aries until 2039 for the next 14 years is happening in your 11th house of the world is your oyster, Gemini. This is the house where we want to experience success. Social media platforms, tribes, supporters, friendships, a very, very important house, especially for Gemini people for whom connection is so important. To feel supported. Gemini, I have a separate video for you on your superpowers, one for each sign. You might want to watch that. A lot of Geminis have really related to it. But because this is where Neptune will be for you in your 11th house, it is calling you, Gemini. This is a heroine's journey, hero's journey. In Aries, that's the call of your soul. And Neptune is, what does your heart long for? What do you desire? In your 11th house, I think a lot of you, this is soul sisters and soul brothers, or this is whatever will bring you fulfillment. Maybe it is a social media platform like YouTube. Maybe it is, where you're doing videos. Maybe it is, I'm just tuning in intuitively. It could be for some of you that desire to find your tribe, to be in community, feel held in community. That's just so, I mean, we all want that, but on a certain level for Geminis, you need that, Gemini, because you're air. You have one foot in both worlds, one foot in the ethereal world, the magic of life, the synchronicities, the signs, all of that stuff lights you up so much. And then the other foot is in this very heavy physical world that can feel too heavy for Geminis, just feel too heavy. You're the butterfly. And so why am I saying this? Because the 11th house, which is the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, long-term financial gains, fulfillment, for you with Neptune here, this is, where and a lot of this, also this fulfillment comes from that connection. You need connection, Gemini. Very, very good news to have this, not only this, but I love this for you. So Neptune's been in Pisces. That has squared your energy. Since 2011, you've been squared. Your hopes, wishes, and dreams may have felt derailed in some way, or just too hard to get to, or just too foggy, or like very karmic, like a lot of karmic stuff happening. That's Pisces energy. Clearing karma. Now, Gemini, with Neptune in Aries, that makes a sextile to your energy. It makes it's a harmonious aspect. It's a harmonious conversation. It's very, very supportive. It's a lot less work than dealing with the square energy of Neptune and Pisces. That is such good news. And Venus and Mercury this month are stationing direct. They are stationing direct in Pisces, and that does square your energy. So there is that. But the direct motion, it's a lot easier to navigate a square when it's direct than a square that is retrograde, let me tell you. And this would be things coming up in your career life, how you spend your time and energy. You could have felt with Venus and Mercury retrograde in your 10th house of career, you could have felt like things just took a lot longer, were more draining, or more exhausting. There was more fear, there was more anxiety or overwhelm, any of those things. This could have played out in your home environment as well. And again, it's not just career, it's life purpose expressed. It's where you want meaning and fulfillment. It's retirement or semi-retirement for some of you. It's where you want to give back, some of you, legacy. So, direct motion, forward flow in your 10th house of career. Very good news. The full moon in Libra, Gemini, makes a trine to your energy. This is very lovely. This is a fresh breeze blowing in. Not only this, it's happening in your 5th house, which is my favorite house in the zodiac because it's all the sensual pleasures of life. It is love and romance, children, creativity. It's where you are invited to be a child again, to at least let your child, like nature, come through, to be inspired by your inner muse, Gemini. It does make an opposition to Chiron. That is the planet of the wounded healer. That the archetype of the, it's not a planet, it's the archetype of the wounded healer. It is, Chiron will be in the 11th house. So something could come up for you that feels triggering, having to do with a social media platform, having to do with a friendship, or where you thought you had support that you feel like you're not supported or you're not seen. That could happen. But remember, this full moon trines your energy. And Chiron has been in Aries for a long time. All of this just depends on how this full moon is activating. If it is close, any planets or points that are close to the degree that it is in. All of the degree points and that dates, etc., I speak about in part 1 of this video, which was the collective horoscope for everyone. So, but you're getting this full moon in your 5th house of all those, as I like to say, deliciousness of life. So let your inner child run free. Give yourself a timeout if you can. Give yourself the freedom that you need during this full moon time. Gemini, Mars is moving into Leo. That also really harmonizes beautifully beautifully with your energy. It's a sextile, another sextile. It's ease and flow. You do have to take action to receive an opportunity. You do have to ask questions sometimes. Sometimes there is a workaround that we have to pursue. But, you know, once you see a need, follow through on that need, and you will likely have that need met. Mars will be transiting your 3rd house of moving and shaking. This is the house of your mindset. It's a mercurial house. You're ruled by Mercury. It is the 3rd house of our local neighborhood and networks and the places that we do our errands and our workouts and all those things. And once Mars goes in, also websites and the message you put out into the world, if you're a writer, if you have a blog, if you are a teacher, a salesperson, anyone who has their own business or freelance work, that would fall here as well. So there's a lot of energy here for you with Mars. And if you haven't been that social, Gemini, this is going to get you out to be more social for sure when Mars lands here. And it's going to make a trine to Neptune in your 11th house of your dream, of tribe, of fulfillment, social media platforms, everything I was talking about earlier when I talked about Neptune here. What I love about this transit is that Mars will make that trine to Neptune in the 11th house from the 3rd to the 11th house. And that is new people, I feel, coming into your life. That is a new spark of inspiration for you. You could definitely experience more community, more connection. And finally, Gemini, the sun is entering Taurus. I needed that breath. The sun will enter Taurus on the 19th. The new moon is on the 27th. It's happening for you in your 12th house of rest, retreat, your inner mystic. It may be time to give yourself a little break this new moon, to do some deep diving. I have guided meditations for you that will connect you with your divine source, both on my YouTube channel, and you can get a free download of a meditation on my website when you sign up to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates in your inbox each week. This is an invitation, this new moon, to rewire your subconscious mind, to do some maybe work on how you manifest, the story that you're manifesting with. Is it uplifting? Does it match the vibration of what your heart most wants? Maybe getting more intimate with a spiritual guide. Maybe you're connecting with passed on loved ones. Maybe you're meeting someone that we would put in the 12th house, a karmic meeting with somebody possibly. Mars and Pluto are opposing one another in your 3rd and 9th houses, that axis of learning and growth. So what does this mean? It means, and also the axis of you like putting your message, if you have a message that you want to share with others, into the world. Freelance work, publishing, all of that stuff is there as well. Also, just feeling more expanded. So Mars and Pluto are saying anything in those areas that I just described that is toxic to you needs to go. Could be people in your local environment, could be views that you have, it could be a religion, it could be something that just is too suffocating for you in some way, something that feels suffocating, something that feels um you've outgrown it. You've just outgrown it. It's not right for you anymore. This new moon in Taurus says we have to let that go. We have to cut ties to it. We have to detox it. You get the idea. So, I think this new moon for a lot of Geminis is going to be rewriting a narrative or changing the way you think about yourself, upgrading that, because maybe you're not asking for enough. Maybe you're not valuing yourself enough. Maybe you're not seeing yourself through the eyes of the divine. If we could all see ourselves the way the divine sees us, it would be such a different world, wouldn't it, Gemini? Okay, let me now pull a card. And that's a journey. I know it's a journey for all of us, most of us, to do that subconscious mind rewiring. Gemini, your card is Comfort. Archangel Azrael, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Some of you could be healing from a broken heart. Some of you, when I look at this card, I see a lot of throat chakra. I see a lot of like floating in the ethers. There's a victory here for sure. But if you need comfort, comfort is here. Call on Archangel Azrael or call on your own spiritual guides, your own soul to bring you comfort. If you have gone through anything difficult lately or you're going through something difficult, this card is a reminder that you're not in this alone, even though you could feel like you're in it alone, Gemini. The nodes of the moon in Pisces and Virgo are squaring Gemini energy. Your Gemini energy, whether it's sun, moon, rising, Venus, or any other planet, could have received a challenging transit from the nodes. And sometimes that means we have to go through something that feels karmic, that feels fated, that isn't easy. Lots of different reasons that you could be needing a card like this, but the message that's coming through for me right now is just whatever. This is what my mind does sometimes. If I go through something really hard, I'm like, oh my God, is this going to be forever? Geminis can worry. And the message that's coming through is stay in this present moment. Don't make up a story about anything that's going on. Don't decide that if there's something really hard going on, that it's going to be forever, or don't let your fears run away from your mind. Allow your heart to heal. Our heart is, what does the Heart Math Institute say? It has the power to draw to it what it desires. It's like 5,000 times greater, its energy, than the intellect. So I know you're an intellectual sign, Gemini. It's my sun sign too, but try to stay out of the intellect and the worried mind as much as possible. Drop into your heart. Let your heart heal. Let yourself receive the comfort of your guides, your angels, your divine support. If anything I shared resonates for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. My beautiful friends, thank you so much for joining me for this April 2025 astrology video. I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. Thank you for liking this video, giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. When you subscribe, like, comment, share, you ignite the algorithm that then puts this video out to more people who love astrology, which then ripples back its support to me. So I cannot thank you enough. I would not be here without you. If you would like to do a private astrology consultation with me, or you would like to receive coaching support, we can do a natal chart reading. We can do a heart's desire or a life purpose reading. relationship harmony, or you can book a 90-minute astrology reading and receive some coaching from me at the same time. Go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me, and you should get a sense of whether you feel called to work with me. And if you feel called, it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. Thank you to my Sunday chat friends for joining us. It is always my pleasure and joy and so much fun to hang out with you Sunday mornings. I appreciate you whenever you are watching this video. As promised, I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation. To get it, all you have to do is go to my website, subscribe for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get that free instant download, which is a meditation to connect you to your own divine spiritual essence, the unconditional love of the source of who you are, your spirit of pure love. If you'd like to get that meditation, go to my website, subscribe to my updates, and you'll get that free instant download at the same time. My beautiful friend, how are you feeling about the astrology of April? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I love hearing from you. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.